When black people wake up and become intellectually independent enough to think for themselves, as other humans are intellectually independent enough to think for themselves, then the black man will think like a black man, and he will feel for other black people. And this new thinking and feeling will cause black people to stick together.
Truth seekers, please understand, Mental Dialogue is much more than just a talk show. Each and every Saturday, we communicate with you for two reasons: to dialogue and connect. On the dialogue side, we cater to you intellectual outcasts who feel you have no place for honest discourse on race, sex, culture, and African American business. On the connect side, we've created a community where you can connect with experts specifically in finance, whether personal or business, and mental health, whether it's trauma or to optimize performance, along with all the other skill sets from other MD community members. Our mission was to create a virtual nationwide neighborhood where African Americans learn to trade ideas, goods, and services through social media, meetup, and this podcast. To become a neighbor of the Mental Dialogue Community Club, please visit us at mentaldialogue.com. We are better with you than we are without you. We can be neighbors even though we don't live next to each other. Hashtag raise the culture.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Montoya Smith, a.k.a. Black Socrates. Having a little technical difficulties here. Let me figure this out real quick so I can get on this, so you don't see me just in the corner here. Let's see here. Still waiting on my brother Ankh to join me. Hopefully he's coming soon. Let me see what I've done here. See if I can switch this. Sure. I think this is it. Oh, that didn't work. All right, let me try this. All right, y'all. I'm not quite sure why I'm showing up like this. All right, so give me a second. Let me figure out what's going on. Something must have changed in my studio here. All right, let's see. Let me try this one. Not sure what's going on with this. All right, and again, I hope my brother Ankh joins me. So this is just something that brother Ankh asked me to do, and I wanted to pop up with him. And so hopefully he'll be joining me, and I can. Oh, let me see. Let me think. This might be it right here. Let me try this. Okay, that's a little better. All right, I'm almost getting it figured out, y'all. Hold on. No, that's not the one either. Give me a second. We're gonna hit the right button here. I must have changed something in the studio, and I didn't realize it. All right, y'all. All right, I think that's a better view. So I'm going to carry this show on with the idea that my brother Ankh will be joining me in this discussion, as we call this the truth about Anthony Fauci, if you will, on the Mental Dialogue perspective. We pop up from time to time. We typically try to always rock on Saturday, so keeping true to that form, we are here with you on a Saturday morning to dialogue through this thing. It may be short and sweet. If again, I hope my brother Ankh is able to join me and everything's okay. But in the event that brother is not able to join me, I will, in a sense, just give you my perspective, which is never our goal. If you are a first-time watcher of the Mental Dialogue perspective, if you come to our YouTube page, we actually have two shows, Politically Conscious. So some of y'all may be joining us. So this is not the political show where we try to bring you the left and right view of things and try to give you straight, no chaser politics and raise the consciousness of politics. So if you're here for that, this is the Mental Dialogue perspective where we talk race, sex, and culture. And I feel like the situation with Dr. Fauci, again, in agreement with my brother Ankh, has some consequences in the African American community. And so hopefully we can walk and talk through that dialogue. And again, I maybe, don't know where my brother's at. I'm not going to focus on that. I'm going to give y'all the best version I can. But typically, the Mental Dialogue perspective is usually to have various perspectives on the show and dialogue through them and see where we can meet in the middle, or just get a better understanding of other sides of things, if you will. And so we're not here to argue, yell beliefs at one another. We are here to basically, as I teach for those who come to my live experience in Atlanta, the art of consideration. Let me listen to what the other the side has to say, and before my cognitive dissonance kicks in and I stop listening, let me hear what they have to say. Because often, even when you disagree with someone vehemently, if you listen to what their perspective is, sometimes you can understand how they came to that conclusion, whether you think it is logical or not. And so again, this will be, in a sense, my dialogue through the Fauci hearing from perspective, not just that, but as we call it, the truth about Fauci. And hopefully you will hear a perspective you have yet to hear on this whole situation. And so again, that's what I'm going to attempt to do right now. I'm solo dolo, hoping to be able to walk y'all through it without all the various perspectives. If y'all put comments in the actual comments, I will try to maybe share y'all perspective so that we can do the gumbo of perspectives, which is always our attempt. So enough explaining. What we do is react to clips and give you and have that dialogue. So here's the first clip I want to play in reference to this whole situation. And I'm having to share my screen. I typically have the clips ready to go and I just pop them up. But hey, technical difficulties, we're going to overcome them. So I'm going to do screen sharing. And without another guest, I hope this works. To usually be able to say, hey, is this working or not? So I do know how to share the screen, so it shouldn't be a problem. But if y'all let me know in the comments, if y'all can't see what I'm sharing, please let me know in the comments. Again, I'm solo dolo trying to pull this off. So I'm going to share this screen and play clips from sharing the screen, since for whatever reason StreamYard is not allowing me to basically put the clips in the show. So that I don't know why it's stopping me today. So I'm having to do share screens today. All right, so I'm going to share my screen and play the clips this way. So bear with me. So we have to watch me share the screen, which I know is a little weird. All right, here's our first clip, and hopefully I don't know if y'all can. I think y'all can still hear me. So I'm about to play this with the hopes that y'all will see it as well. Again, I don't have a guest in the show in the studio with me to let me know if it's working or not. So hopefully y'all are going to hear this when it plays.
Tony Fauci is an absolute criminal. Can you tell us about the mindset of coming into your last season? Like, that's a real thing, it feels like. Because is everything better? Is everything funner? Is everything more awesome? Like, how do you kind of view this year versus maybe the years of the past?
I'm going to plead the fifth.
Okay. Okay.
Gotta love that guy.
Okay.
Like that absolute coward, Tony Fauci. Absolute coward.
Yeah.
It's back, Are you kidding me?
Yeah, 111
You got a pardon and you're in front of you and you pleaded over 100 times
Yeah.
at the White House. What are you scared of, Tony?
Yeah.
I thought you were the science.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought you were I am science, and you get up there and you can't answer a question.
Yeah.
What are we doing? And how much time did the network spend at that? How much time did they spend on my responses every week, on my vaccination status, on Taylor and Travis's wedding? Did they do even a minute? Did they do even a minute on Tony Fauci?
No, I don't think I've heard
Nah, I
anything.
bet they didn't.
But on that note,
And there was another scandal this offseason, too, involving a voter for MVP, for Coach of the Year. How much time did your network spend? Where's your cap? Did your network spend on
our
that?
network.
I wish
How much time did you spend?
This is awesome.
Go back to Fauci? Yeah. Go back to the coward Tony Fauci and his science?
Hold on now.
Who's spending the entire time writing in his diary about how fun it is to be famous? You got to be kidding me.
Okay, so on that note,
What are you going to say about me now?
Debate him.
What are you going to say about me
no,
now?
I got no debate here. You got a 500.
No, seriously, what are they going to say about me now? Now you can't talk about the COVID stuff because obviously it was made, in a lab in China. That's like not even questionable anymore. Tony Fauci is an absolute criminal. I'm on good terms with my family. I'm on good terms with my family. What are you going to say now? What are you going to say now?
I want to let you know, it's been a fun ride for you, I was feeling over the last
It's
couple.
been a great life and a great career. And it's nice to be sitting on this side now, especially after that coward played the fifth over 100 times.
Okay.
I thought you had a pardon there, Tony. Why couldn't you answer one question the entire time?
Okay,
Why
we
not?
got 4 minutes till the hard out.
Yeah, I got 4 more
do feel
minutes,
like-
and we
I
keep
got
this
more.
shit going.
All right, y'all. I hope y'all can hear me. Again, I'm just trying to work through the technical difficulties today. Looks like I'm losing y'all, so I don't know if that even played. Did you see the screen, Ankh?
Hey, you
I don't
had
know.
me in the back for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, hey, brother, hey, just chill out right now, because right now you're coming on late, and I'm trying to pull this thing off. So
No, I was sitting in the bottom. Is you listening to me?
listen. Okay, so what I'm saying is, did it share? Because I don't know. Did the screen share?
I don't know. I was sitting in the bottom.
Okay, so I don't know. All right, so let me see if there's any comments. I just tried to share a screen because for whatever reason, StreamYard wouldn't let me queue up my videos. So I'm really hoping people saw the video I just played. I didn't know that you sit in the bottom.
You showing right now. You showing your YouTube channel.
But I did it show the Aaron Rodgers clip? That's what I'm trying to find out.
We heard it, but you showing your YouTube.
That's what I'm asking. I need to know if you heard it. Just say yes or no, so we can move into the show, bro. I need you to come on with me today. So I'm already trying to get this figured out. So did you hear the Aaron Rodgers clip? Because I don't know if it did or not. That's why I'm asking. I need to know. You saying yes or no? Did you hear it?
I didn't see it.
But you could hear it?
I can hear it.
Oh man, okay, y'all. All right, y'all. My bad if y'all weren't able to see the clip.
That's perfect though, because you messing up monetization. You all right with that? Do it like that.
I don't know what you're talking about, brother. All right, let's try to keep the show going because I was already into the show. So it sounds like Brother Ankh is saying y'all could hear the clip. So I hope y'all heard the clip because I want to be reacting directly to the clips. So I'm having to do the clips a different way because for whatever reason I'm not able to queue them up today. So and literally we do clip reactions. So I don't understand how you could hear it and not see it, but hopefully that works. All right, let me stop sharing.
Yeah, that's what you was doing. You were sharing two things.
Okay. I got it. Okay.
You see what you just did?
No, I don't, brother. This is what's happening right now is new for me. So I may have to just cancel the show because I hear myself twice. I don't know what's going on technically. That's why I wanted to get there early so we could queue up stuff. So I don't know what's happening right now because I hear myself twice.
Oh, I can't hear you twice.
You can't hear me?
I can hear you. I don't hear you twice. I don't know what you're talking about.
I can barely hear you. So let me figure this out. All right, y'all. I may just have to cancel the show, y'all. Sorry about this technical difficult stuff, but I'm not quite understanding what's happening. This is why we have to be early, man, so we can practice stuff before the show goes. I don't know how to, I don't know how to do a lot of this stuff, bro. My show, the way it normally works, it didn't let me queue them up. So that's why I wanted to be early so we could practice this. So I don't know how to do a lot of this. So I typically have mine in this media assets so that it just plays. I don't have to do a share screen. But it's not letting me do that today. So I'm hearing myself twice and 2 times, so I don't know what's going on right now. And I don't want to have the whole show be technical difficult.
Oh, okay, all right.
Because right now I'm hearing myself twice and I don't know why. Do you have the show in the background on another tab?
Who, me? I don't got nothing.
I hear myself twice.
Because you probably because what you was doing was you was sharing plus playing that you was sharing that. You can't see that, Montoya.
But brother, I'm trying to figure it out. Just work with me.
I'm asking, can you see your screen?
Yes, I see that I'm sharing. I'm trying to stop sharing now.
So, hold on. So you were sharing Facebook. Where was the clip at? Was the clip on Facebook?
No, the clip is actually in my files.
Okay, so you had your file playing while you were screen sharing.
That's what I was trying to do, and hopefully it worked. I don't know if it worked.
No, we heard it, but
you couldn't see it. Okay.
All
right. All right, so I'm going to try to keep it going. Sorry, y'all. Again, just trying to work through the technical stuff, so it's stowed off today. He said could hear the video. Okay, somebody told me in there, could hear video but not see. Okay, thanks a lot for that comment, whoever gave me that comment. Brother, I still hear myself twice, though. That's what's weird.
Hey, why don't you look? Okay. What you got playing? Where the video at? What page you got your video from? YouTube?
I learned the hard lesson.
The video was in my file.
Y'all young fellas out there.
See, you playing your video right now, Montoya.
Yeah, I don't mean to be doing that. I'm trying
to
understand why I hear myself twice.
You wild out.
Yeah.
You don't know where you playing your video from?
I told you from my files. But I don't know why I'm hearing myself twice.
You playing 2 things?
Yeah, I'm not sure how I'm doing it. All right, it is what it is. I'm try to pull that off. All right, y'all. Yeah, I think I'm sorry, y'all. I'm about to cancel this show, man, because I don't know what's going on technical wise. Because you hear me twice?
No, only you know.
All right. Okay, if y'all can hear me twice, I'll try to bear with hearing myself twice. Not sure what's going on with that. All right. So basically, I just played the Aaron Rodgers clip. So hopefully y'all heard that. So the response that I was hoping to give to the Aaron Rodgers clip, and I'll let Brother kind of pipe in the way that he would like. But I wanted to highlight that Aaron Rodgers was basically saying after the Fauci thing, he was clowning him on that clip, and they was asking him about what he was going to do for the season, and he focused on what happened with Fauci pleading the fifth 111 times. I wanted to say that versus creating a dialogue about whether, in a sense, Fauci was right or agreeing or disagreeing with Aaron Rodgers, where I actually wanted to go was to talk about how, while I differ with Aaron Rodgers, I wanted to start with how I understand how, after that hearing, how a lot of people would come to the exact same conclusion as Aaron Rodgers. Because again, as I open the show, what we do with the mental dialogue perspective is try to talk about things that we may disagree on, but have an understanding of the perspective. And so basically, on the Politically Conscious show, we talked about more specifically about what happened in the hearing. And so the reality is, after Rand Paul basically brought Fauci before the Senate to do that particular hearing, we saw that Dr. Anthony Fauci pleaded the fifth, and his reasoning was because y'all are only doing this to put me in jail. And so that was the reason that he pleaded the fifth. However, as you see, you have an Aaron Rodgers basically on that show being smug and said, hey, he was being a coward, and it basically validated himself. He felt extremely validated. If you don't know Aaron Rodgers' history, just a quick reminder, he literally, during the pandemic, he was one of the people that when the NFL, in a sense, was requiring to have the vaccine, he took an approach where he did something, did something alternatively, and he wouldn't necessarily admit that he hadn't been vaccinated. He basically tried to skirt around that because he did not want to, in a sense, follow the recommendation of the government. And so he got himself in some controversy during that time. And he has since that time been a long time, I would say, a COVID vaccine denier, been a long time. And so what happened for me was when I saw that video, I actually understood by having Fauci in that hearing plead the fifth 111 times why plenty of people would feel just like Aaron Rodgers feels. Any thoughts to you from your perspective on whether you can understand it or not?
No, I can't understand it at all. It's just
And so here it is. I'm challenging
cut
you
me
to.
off.
I want to because you missed the intro of the show. The intro of the show was we're going to try to understand people who think differently
And
than
I
us.
tried and I couldn't understand. So what you want me to do? Just like they can't understand. So you got two sides can't understand.
And so I don't want to do a dialogue of just who's right and who's wrong.
Man,
That was the intro of the show.
Going on, Montel? You gotta let me talk. Let me get to it.
I'm just asking you to consider what the purpose of the show
I don't
is.
need you to coach me. Now we don't.
I'm just saying we went into the show saying we wanted to give a.
I get it, but don't let me talk.
If
bro.
you said
I'm
you
not-
can't, okay.
I'm saying this.
You missed the intro, so I just wanted to make sure I.
Quiet. Calm down. You can't control every variable like you try to control it.
I'm not doing
Say what
that. I
want
just
to
ask
say.
you to understand the premise of what the Minute Dollar
Oh,
Perspective
man,
show
this
is.
Now, I don't need this morning. I got a great day going, and I don't need to have a conversation like I'm having a conversation with a pseudo. Just allow me to talk. Let me
And
get
I'm
to where
asking
I'm
you
getting
to come from the
You'll see
perspective
what I'm
of
saying.
trying to see the
Thank
other
you.
perspective. That's what I'm
I
challenging
don't
you
need
to
to see
do.
the upper perspective until I say what I need
What-
to say. You gotta let me say it, bro. What is wrong with you?
Because the premise of this show is to understand the other perspective.
This nigga here, yo, you the worst. You worse than him. at this
I'm
point.
asking, can you come from that
No,
perspective?
No,
All right.
because you won't let me talk.
But you're saying you're not even going to consider the other
You
perspective. That's
cut
the
me
whole
off
point of the
in
show.
middle of a show. I'm streaming on my channel, and you won't let me say what I need to say. You said
Go ahead,
everything
brother.
you need to say. Nobody jumped in. Nobody turned. Let me say what I need to say, bro. It's a method to my madness. Let me rock. You can't control the way I'm getting to that. Let me get there. It was a point I was trying to make. You killed the point on purpose.
Not on purpose. I just asked you to consider what the purpose of the show
Don't you
is.
think I heard what you said?
I know you said no. You kept saying no at both
Because
times.
you jumped in.
Okay, go ahead.
My point is, no, I can't understand it, right? And then the reason I can't understand it for the same reason they can't understand it, because they don't want to understand it. So I don't want to understand what they're saying. But me not wanting to understand what they're saying does not cost us our life. Them not understanding what's going on will cost them their life and cost somebody else their life. Now I can get into what the hell I wanted to say. So we can all be stubborn and not pay attention to the cues. Humans already believe a lot of everything. So the ignorance is understandable. Just like if we was to get on a football field and try to call plays with Aaron Rodgers, we wouldn't understand the verbiage. But we wouldn't mess up $1 million game acting like we understand the verbiage. This is essentially what everybody is doing. They're acting like they understand the verbiage. They're uneducated on the situation. They're absolutely ignorant to virology and immunology. It's a tough subject, bro. It's one of the toughest subjects in science. So I'm never expecting them. Now, this is what you want me to say. I'm never expecting them to get it. And that I understand, Montoya. So let me say it the way I need to say it because it's me saying it. I don't need no coaches. My point is this. This is what I'm not understanding. They all recognize that they really haven't read the material. They're listening to RuPaul. What's the senator name?
Rand Paul.
Rand Paul. They listen to Rand Paul. They listen to wild videos. They stuck like this. But no one is taking into consideration their family, and there may be some material you need to read. So if I want to know about football and football quarterbacking, I'm going to go to Aaron Rodgers. And I'm going to ask him. I'm not going to go to Montoya. At that point, it doesn't make sense. So what they're doing doesn't make sense. I understand it's feeding into their fears. I get it. Fauci, why are you pleading the fifth? Because at a certain point, the man has to take care of himself. He has taken care of us for a long time. He's a public health official. He has been concerned with everybody else beside himself. And the one time he gets concerned about himself, because at the end of the day, it's not worth it going to jail for ignorance. It's just not worth it. He has a family. He's at a certain age. Why would he risk any of that for y'all? He already risked his whole career, his whole life in making sure vaccines was right. All the way through AIDS, all the way through the pandemic. He did that already. So at this point, he's doing what a grown man's supposed to do. Lawyer up, because they're idiots. I'm not going to jail for people who refuse to read real material. I'm lawyering up, and I'm not repeating everything I've already said. Now, Aaron Rodgers, Stephen A. Smith, and them, they're clowns to me. And you know why they're clowns? Because they present themselves as being professional in their said fields. Very professional Stephen A. Smith is at the top of the heap. But when it comes to this, bro, he's somewhere down here. And he's promoting the fears constantly because they don't understand that there's politics, which has nothing to do with science. In a perfect world, your politics should closely match your science. That's in a serious functioning nation, bro. That's when societies take off. When your policies match your science. You know what I'm saying? When the mode of operation matches your science, where the money, right? The money coming in for corporations, right? They be like, well, if we make this decision, we'll make more money, but it'll harm people, and they decide and go with the science. That's in a perfect world. In the unperfect world, there's always going to be an unbalance, right? There's going to be the oil companies need to make money, maybe to the detriment sometimes, and so maybe we won't take the scientific approach until you get to that threshold where it really matters in lives, when everybody say, you know what, we got to knock it off. So that pandemic was a we got to knock it off moment. What I'm not understanding is, why now? Why now, after everybody's safe and secure, do we start this talk up again?
Right. So I'll give you some history on the why now, just to kind of give you a little history on that. And there is definitely a personal vendetta from Rand Paul in regards to Fauci, just to kind of put those facts out there. So basically, back in 2021, Fauci came out publicly and basically said to Rand Paul in 2021 that he was a liar about the lab leak theory. And so he did that publicly. And so Rand Paul personally had a vendetta, in a sense, against him for trying to call them out publicly. And at the time, think about it, we're talking about 2021, so you're a couple years in now. There's more information, and so the preponderance of evidence at that time is starting to lean towards natural origin for COVID, for the coronavirus, for the COVID-19 specifically, versus the lab leak theory. And now we're 6 years later. You know, you being a scientist, you know there's even more information that's leaning towards the natural origin than the lab leak theory. So based on what you do with the pseudo killers, y'all basically teach scientific literacy, and so again, you can back up that that's where more of the science is leaning. And so ultimately, believe it or not, Rand Paul has basically had a vendetta since that time. Now, here's what I say I understand about how Aaron Rodgers could come to his conclusion and how a lot of people would feel that way. We have actually people in the chat saying you were wrong, Bobby West, the whole time. I see one sister saying Fauci had a pardon already. And so let me address both of those, and I'll let you jump back in. And so, here's what I absolutely. I'm gonna say one more comment too. It says Fauci hit the fact that America was funding the lab in Wuhan. Then he pleaded the fifth like a coward. So those comments actually make sense to me, because here's the thing. The reason it makes sense to me is the dialogue from the very beginning of, to your point, biology is a very difficult study. It's a difficult study even if you already are a scientist. That may not be your thing. It's one of the higher ends of science, right? And so the reality is, due to for example, the COVID-19 virus ending up relatively closely to about a 1% mortality rate. You can correct me because I know you know the numbers better than me, but generally speaking, that's kind of where it ended up. And so what happens is, it's hard for people to see that death rate is the type of death rate that you should be alarmed by, because for the most part, even before you bring in a sense, the concept of adding a vaccine to help your immune system, even before you even bring in the concept of that, 99% of the people are going to survive it. And so because of that, when the government says, hey, a 1% death rate is a real issue, because the government having to be responsible for their entire country, not wanting to lose 1% of its population, when the government comes out and says, hey, this thing is very dangerous, and the focus is on deaths and nothing else, then it's like, how is this dangerous? I don't see an issue here, because prior to vaccines, if you will, a 1% death rate, while devastating to the totality of a population day to day, that death rate doesn't seem like a lot. And so because the government focused on the death rate, people took that as, oh, they were over alarming. What are they talking about? This thing is not that serious. And so because it took a little while to spread around the world, then you get people saying, why is the government being alarmist? And I'm just highlighting that I get that perspective, that when you focus specifically on the deaths, that something that you won't understand, which are people right now, for example, are dealing with long COVID even since 2019, even since 2020. That affected about 20% of the population. So for the most part, with or without a vaccine, people were able to recover fully. And that's kind of how it's always been. So I'm just kind of breaking down. I understand why people basically latch on to, why did we even need a vaccine? And in a sense, unfortunately, was COVID really that devastating? And I'm saying I just get the concept for why people don't understand it. Any thoughts about what I just broke down, brother?
Yeah, so when you did that 1%, but 1% of 250 million people living in America is a lot of people.
Absolutely. I
1%
would
of
definitely agree.
250 million, if it was in your bank, if a person said, I'm gonna give you 1%, 1 point, right? Such and such, you be like, every month, you be like, yeah, right? And so once again, it's the ignorant. Science is not for the ignorant, right? Science works against ignorance. That's why it's science. Human beings are generally ignorant to things, right? that require tools and measurements. Okay, evolution, we evolved to understand the world using our 5 senses. There's no science without the tools. The tools actually deaden your senses. It moves your senses out the way and is measured through machines, bro, where the bias, for the most part, is not there.
Right.
There's still biases there, but this is an accurate depiction of science. That being said, people are horrible with numbers and math. You hear them say it all the time, I'm not good at math. They say it all the time. So if you're not good at math, then the 1% is a damn lot, man.
Yes,
It's a whole lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
To the point where most of us know family members that died. So what I'm not understanding is that there has to be a mechanism of survival. All humans have it, where you get to the point where you realize it's actually out of my hands. Some people run to Christianity, some people run to the deity, right? Some people run to prayer, meditation, but that there has to be a moment where you realize this is out of my hands. This is past my pay grade. And I'm saying, for some odd reason, right? I might have an idea what the reason is, but for some odd reason, that didn't actually kick in. And I'm kind of looking back at the debate I had against the largest anti-vax community in the world, and then I realized that there's a cushion afforded to you living in America, and that cushion is, even if you don't do it, most people will rise up and do it. I'm gonna say this again. Even if you won't do it, most people rise up and do it. You was one of them people. You actually, watch this, with the heart of a lion, put your name in a hat, right? And you got chosen to take a damn vaccine trial. That's a hero. It's a hero stepped out there and did that in the middle of not knowing none of that. That didn't happen for a lot for small amounts of people. They decided to hit the rhetoric, but you decided, let me take a vaccine. Let me you use the test subject, right? Do you know there was a lot of people with heroic actions during that pandemic that did just that, Montoya, right? That ties us to why they was able to get these things to market. You had a breeding ground of the pathogens and people stepping up with heroic actions like you. Now, you can sit back as a happy American that can talk, that white privilege, that pseudo knowledge, and sit back and say, oh, we ain't doing it, because you got heroes stepping up amongst you, and you can always be behind the line in the safety of the castle and look out at the people fighting and talk that talk, right? So they was, you know, America kind of, well, I would say America kind of seals you, right? It pampers you. It allows you the freedom to say what you want to say without thinking, as long as you don't go into a daggone quote unquote a movie and howl out fire. You can pretty much say anything. Social media is another thing, which can be a disease. It makes you feel like a champion and a hero because you can overtalk somebody on this platform, and then you get followers, and that kind of feeds into you like a dark side of being a human. I'm that man. I'm this. I'm that. With no knowledge of the subject. So you had all of this going on. You got Stephen A. Smith. You got a quarterback. You know, quarterbacks are very arrogant. He's a great athlete. You know what I'm saying? Aaron Rodgers is a great athlete. He's one of the best.
Yes,
MVP,
ever.
Super Bowl champ.
Ever.
He talked that talk. Bravado, tough guy, tough, all that. But that didn't help him in understanding vaccines. So he tried to take that same passion, that same bravado, and move it to science show, and he gets whacked out. The same with Stephen A. Smith. The same with most of them. So it's a combination of social media that automatically make you feel like a champion. There's actual champions in their field like Stephen A. Smith, who now apologizing to Kyrie Irving and all them. These are actual champions, bro. But they go from being mighty men to daggone ignorant mouse. You know what I'm saying, yo?
Now I can respect that, man. Let me throw this out there and let me try to share these clips because again, I wish I could queue them up and they just come up real quick. I'm gonna stop complaining about it. Just it's not working today. So with that said, yeah, I'll highlight for anybody who's even wondering. Not again, you
You
always say
can
I'm a
send it
hero
to
for.
me if you want.
Well, it's all good. I'm gonna be able to share them because I probably like I said I just gotta probably show the right screen. I would probably show the wrong screen. Hopefully, I can figure that out.
I know you did. Play too
Yeah,
much. Go
but here you
ahead.
go. So anyway, real quick, I just wanted to respond to you. Even suggested that again, I've received. You say I'm a hero. I'm not a hero per se, but I
Nah,
will
hey,
give.
ho, yo, whoa,
No,
whoa,
no, no,
whoa,
no.
whoa,
Let me say this real quick.
whoa, whoa.
Go
Hey,
ahead.
yo, don't do that.
That's fair. That's fair.
Because everybody was in fear. Those who understood science was in fear. Those who was acting like they understood it and was anti-vax, they was in fear. I know they was in fear because I talked to them at
Right.
at
Okay.
that debate.
Fair enough.
And after that debate, they all verified that it's kind of a scary thing. So the fact that you walk through that, that makes us a hero because you sacrifice yourself, potentially your life, right, to go through those vaccine trials, though. You know what I'm saying? They gave it placebo and all above.
Yeah,
Imagine that.
I actually caught it when because they don't tell you which if the first one is the placebo or the actual vaccine, and so I ended up catching it and come to find out I had the placebo. You know what I
See?
mean? But they don't because they don't tell you. Yeah. But anyway, I started to say just to give some people history for even my personally, even why I took it because. Probably about a year and a half prior to us even getting hit with the pandemic in 2019, I had the Mental Dialogue show on Blog Talk Radio, and I brought on a immunization doctor, Dr. Earl Stewart at the time. At the time, I was concerned about obviously not knowing that a pandemic was about to come, and didn't know, and COVID-19 was a novel virus, so I definitely didn't have that in mind. But at the time, I had watched, in a sense, the anti-vax community basically take roots, I would feel, in black culture to the extent where I started seeing more African Americans become anti-vaxxers. And so this is, again, if people could even conceptualize what I'm saying right now, this is all prior to the whole pandemic. This is a year and a half before, and I was just concerned with seeing our the virus rates for our children, just even at the time, because people were starting to lean towards getting less vaccines. And so what happened was I ended up having that doctor on and somebody from the Morehouse School of Medicine and just having a dialogue about culturally the things we needed to do as African Americans because I was getting concerned about where the future led because we already have issues in our community with the quality of medical health care that we get. And so talking to the Morehouse School of Medicine with Dr. Earl Stewart, it was a conversation about the fact that some of the medical issues, not just when it comes to viruses, but throughout all of the medical issues, there are so many trials that happen without African Americans. And so sometimes because our bodies can react different to certain things, the trial periods would never really have evidence of how our bodies might react. And so me remembering that from that conversation.
Say it again.
So basically, at the time when I was just having a dialogue about, like medical care, medical health in the African American community, the Morehouse School of Medicine person was highlighting how it's hard to get African Americans inside the trials, the early trials for any of these new medicines. And because we typically are not in the trials, how our bodies might react to any new medicines, whether it's a vaccine or some type of medicine that helps you once you've been injured or once you're hurt, that a lot of times they have to wait till real time to see how our bodies are going to react. So I remembered that when this came up, you feel me? I remembered that conversation I had to say, I don't want this happening without them knowing how our bodies react to anything. So I'm just saying that's the history for why I even stepped up.
So I'm not sure if humans are 99% the same, it's not like a race specific like medicine or something like that. You get it? You can't really say, first of all, when you say you black, that's a social construct. It's not a biological reality. So I wonder why a person would say that though. You get
so like for example, like sickle cell, our bodies react completely different to sickle cell than whites. Like we do have some things that are culturally based on how our bodies react.
It's biological. the sickle cell for
Right,
malaria,
right.
the fight against
And all I'm
malaria.
saying is,
Mutation.
what I'm saying is, the Morehouse School of Medicine was saying that we are typically not a part of early trials.
Now that I agree. That's
And
100%.
so I'm just telling you, all I'm simply saying is, so that was part of the reason why when the pandemic hit, that I was willing to step up, because I did not want these trials to take place without black representation. So I'm just telling you the history of that. I didn't want to belabor
I
it too
got
long.
you. I don't want to
All right,
dog
let me
you
go
on it,
into
but
the next cut. Let me walk through playing this next cut.
what you about to play? I don't want you to mess up. What you think you about to play?
Well, I'm just going to share the screen. That's all I can do. So if people are going to be able to hear it, I hope they can see it.
No, I'm asking.
It's in my file, so I can't send it to you. Yeah.
It's a clip or something because I don't want to mess
Yeah,
up.
but it's unfortunately it's in my files. Normally I loaded up the StreamYard, it wouldn't let me load up today for some reason. So I'm just having
No, I'm asking what you about to play. You ain't playing no
clip.
music, is you? Ain't no music,
It's
right?
it's going to be a video. Hopefully, I know y'all couldn't see the last one, but hopefully y'all can see this one.
Yeah, the video is fine, but the music is gonna mess up the thing, the monetization. I don't.
Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, you talking about on your end of it?
Yep. I don't know why you.
All right. Well, this is a clip from y'all. If I
All right.
play it right. All right. Hopefully, I might have pulled it off this time. This is a clip from my show, so hopefully it won't be a problem. All right. Let me see how to play it. All right, y'all. Bear with me. I'm just doing something different today. So I'm trying to add this to the stage and play it.
got Rand Paul. Go ahead, Preem.
Man, that last line Brother Sean said is real. The United States is the only place having this debate. Now, what I want to add on is why. Why is the entire civilized world in unison, but we somehow different? Ask yourself that. It's not because we sharper than everybody else. It's because our scientific community has been hijacked by politicians. One of the first things that Donald Trump did when he got in office was defund research and fire scientists, to the point where the scientists don't want to even stay in the United States no more because they are scared of the climate and what's going to happen to them just for telling the truth about their work. We are losing our best and brightest to other countries right now as we.
All right. So that actually was a cut from your show that you invited me on, and one of the guests on your show, Preem, was just highlighting the reality that we've gotten to. And I would like to add to this conversation that this basically trial with Anthony Fauci adds to people feeling, in a sense, being down on science to the extent that we're going to, as Brother Preem went on to say on that same clip, he didn't say it in that clip, but went on to say on your show that we're at risk of entering a dark age, even in 2026, because of the placement of where science is. And I would add that that trial only adds to furthering that perspective. Your thoughts, Brother? You're on mute.
Yeah. So it's unprecedented. Scientists are starting to move out of the United States because they're not allowed to practice science, and it's incredible how the ignorant amongst us are allowed to push the buttons like this. And that's the slow degradation of culture and civilization. When you're on the outskirts of science and innovation, you're on a downward spiral. You don't see it, right? But every year, right, the level of what you're doing falls. And before you know it, someone is overtaking you already. And the incredible thing is people act like China didn't have their own vaccines, right? People act like Russia didn't have their own vaccines. This is amazing to me. Cuba made their own vaccines, having nothing to do with each other. So it's obvious if the world, right, understood what the fix was, I'm not even sure it's the right verbiage, or what the proper measures was in dealing with a pathogen, they all agreed on the same thing. What world would you live in that they all agreed on the same thing scientifically to deal with the pathogen, bro? They all was on the same page, and they did different, and they all agreed on a vaccine. Maybe not the exact same types of vaccines, but they all understood the way to deal with this pathogen, right, was a vaccine. If you go back to the plague of Justinian during the Roman Empire, it just about crippled the empire. That was one of the reasons why the empire fell. Most people don't know this history, right? And so, why would nations, some of the richest nations on planet Earth, choose the wrong thing, right? Why? It doesn't make sense. And if they was trying to kill us, why not just make it easy? Put something in the water. You don't clean your own water. All they got to do is don't clean the water right. That's gonna kill you. Quick. You ain't gotta worry about it. Poison the water. So
So
go ahead.
right, here's one thing I would always say to that at the time, again, being on the side of science, the thing that I would always say is the coronavirus is doing a great job of killing us right now. So why even come up with a vaccine? Because the vaccine, so the coronavirus itself was, again, as I said in the very beginning of the show, if you focus on death, it sounds like it's alarming. It sounds so alarming because at the end of the day, whether we had a vaccine or not, 99% of us were going to, in a sense, live from it, right? Now, only 80% of us were going to come out of it just as healthy as we were prior. About 20% of the population had long-term and still have long-term adverse effects, generally speaking. And so there was always that risk. But for the most part, 80% of us were going to be A-OK no matter what. And then if we get specific to the coronavirus specifically, I think it was 80% of those were over 60 and over. And so in a sense, people just kind of look at it as like, oh, it only killed old people. And it's not, and that is actually correct for the most part. Only 20% were under 60. And so just kind of give us people real numbers, whether that matters to them or not.
I'm just wait a minute. It's your aunt and your aunt and your aunt and your uncle.
No, of course, yeah. I lost a cousin.
And your mother and your father.
No, I get it. I'm just saying. I'm just kind of saying. Even when you give, I'm just kind of walking through how I understand how it's not seeable when the numbers are what they are. I just get it. I get how people see that.
So the M1H1, the last pandemic, it attacked young people. There's no rhyme or reason for viruses and how nature conducts its business and how it mutates.
And people will be more alarmed at that one. That people were more alarmed because it's attacking young people. I'm just saying I get how, since this in a sense was only attacking elderly, it was less alarming. The one that you just mentioned was more alarming for the people that were affected by it because, oh Lord, it's killing young people. That would make people pay more attention and listen to science.
But watch this. Even that statement is shrouded in ignorance. Because just because it doesn't kill the younger people, but don't the younger people hug their mother and father? Don't the younger people give their auntie a kiss or shake their hand or breathe around them? Don't young people go around their mothers and their fathers and their aunts and their uncles? So at the end of the day, if you sat down and recognized that it was past your pay grade, right? That there has to be something. See, watch this. If we all got on a jet plane, this how I know they capped out. If we all got on the jet plane, and the pilot say, somebody raise your hand, I want to fly the plane. I raised my hand. I'm going to fly it. And I stayed at a Holiday Inn yesterday, but I'm going to fly the plane. Now, y'all got a chance to get off the plane. They all going to get off the damn plane, bro. They're not going to trust me to fly no damn plane. No experience, no nothing. So then, why would we trust people who have no experience in a field that we already said is extraordinarily hard to understand? First of all, it's science. It deals with statistics. It deals with math. It deals with all the things people know they don't like to do. It requires you to read, reading comprehension, and it's serious work, right? Why they think they could conquer that, but not let a person fly a plane? You wouldn't do it. You would get off the plane. Everybody would immediately get off the plane. Montoya, so I'm saying, Montoya, it's American stubbornness. It's human stubbornness, right? In the face of death, there's always going to be a certain amount of people that's going to think they better. You ever seen the program
Yeah,
Joe's against
let
the
me
pros.
do this so I can get some more clips. So I can get some more clips. All
You
I'm
ever
telling
seen
you,
that? You ever seen anything Joe's against the pros though?
yeah, absolutely.
Hey, they get
So
out there. Hold on, they get out
no,
there.
I
They
get it, I
bring
get
in
it, I
the
get it, I
dough.
get it, I get it. All I'm simply saying is there are
I
people
see it.
that are credentialed experts that are saying the opposite as well. So I'm just telling you, I get that. It ain't as simple as the example you
No,
gave
you said
on
what?
the.
You said what,
What I'm
Montoya?
saying is, it's not as simple as the example you gave of being on the plane when you.
No, you said credentialed experts. What
I'm going to get there. So I'm saying it. I'm just using your whole analogy. As you flew, you stay up in the Holiday Inn. I understand you're making the reference to the commercial joke, and now you're flying the plane. And I said it's not that simple because there are many credentialed experts. And again, to your point, since we're not in science, since we're not Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback, then there's understandings that we're not going to have. All I'm saying is I absolutely understand that there are also credentialed experts saying the opposites of what we're saying. So it ain't as simple as
I'm
they're
not familiar with that. Yeah, I'm not
yeah,
familiar.
it's definitely there's definitely plenty of doctors and
No,
scientists.
they don't count. I need an immunologist. I need virologist. I don't need a doctor. See, I don't need a doctor. You get it?
I'm
No,
just
bro. I'm just saying that's not a good. That's not good.
So yeah,
That's a weapon.
you're disregarding that. To as much as we love science, I love science, and you're way deeper in it than I am.
Yeah, I ain't
What
seen it.
I come and learn from you, so I'm not trying to say I'm where.
I ain't seen it,
Yeah,
Montoya.
all I'm just
I
saying
seen the
is
juice in those
to
people.
I absolutely understand how
Yeah, I ain't
somebody
seen
out
it.
there listening to people who are in the field, because there's always because science is never 100% one way or the other, right? Like for example, what we talked about at the beginning, the the natural origins is where all the evidence leans. But even a scientist right now who understands that all of the evidence leans to natural origin, that scientist won't say it's a fact that it's natural origin because of how science works. And so
Yeah.
for the group that are still looking at saying it's lab, there are still scientists who will say, actual scientists who will say that
No,
it's
no scientist will say
yes,
it.
there are scientists that will
No,
say
I
it.
said no scientist will leave out the lab leak. That's what I'm saying.
No. No. What I'm saying is, I didn't say that you're not listening to me, but there are also scientists who will lean towards the lab leak. So I'm just saying,
And I'm
if you,
saying, where are they though, Montoya?
I don't want to try to.
Yeah,
I'm just
like
trying to. Yeah, I get it.
that's cap. That's cap, bro. That's not.
It's definitely like there's plenty of
So let's do a show on that. Let's get all the
there's
virologists. The next show, let's get a virologist. Let's
no.
get some virologists. Let's do that. Let's see. Let's check the pseudo claims. You get it? Let's because people claim
I'm
a
just
lot of things.
yeah. You're
I
just
can't.
acting like there's nobody. You act like it's not. It's
No, I'm
there are
saying ain't
scientists
nobody.
who
Nobody.
there are scientists who disagree with the vaccine. There are. So don't act like
No,
they don't
man,
exist.
don't. No, no.
You're dismissing them. You're
You're not.
dismissing them,
No,
but they
no, that's
do
not what I'm.
exist. And to say they don't, that's
That's not
my
what I'm
point.
saying.
You're not. That's
There's
my
some.
point, though.
No, there's scientists that disagree with evolution, but not like you may think. You get you. This is what I'm trying to show you.
I don't want to get stuck on this point. I got a
Not
bunch of
stuck. No,
clips to play, bro. I got a bunch of clips to play. If you can
Let's
disagree
go
with
to
me,
the
that's
point.
fine.
No,
I'll let you
no.
disagree.
Hey,
I'm okay
Montoya.
with you disagreeing. So let me go to the next clip.
No, I don't want to go to the next clip because we leave this idea out there. That's the thread they need to work the game. I'm trying to tell you there are scientists that may disagree with evolution, but they will disagree on the mechanisms. So, for instance, Bill Gates said that he want to make vaccines that stop infections, right? He want to make vaccines that stop the spread and all that. He was simply saying that he want to make them better, that the vaccines can be better. They take that and run with it. So of course you're gonna have virologists that disagree of the mode of transport and all that, and they think they may have a better idea, but fundamentally they do not disagree that vaccines are safe and effective, bro. We can never make that mistake, Montoya. I just want to get that idea clear because that's the thread that the pseudos take and pull. Oh, so you got science don't agree with it. That's not effing true, bro. That's not true. That is not true. They may disagree on the type, or disagree on whether we submit that, or disagree on what level we do that. That's different than disagreeing with a vaccine, bro. So you got to go find that for me. You can move on to the next clip.
So right now, how about this? Currently in the United States, about 93% of doctors and physicians get vaccines. That's much higher than the public. There's
You said what? Say it again.
So right now, currently, I'm talking about just vaccines in general, not just
Yeah.
COVID-19. 93% of doctors and physicians in the United States get vaccine, which is a much higher rate than Americans.
Yeah.
So all I'm thinking I'm pointing out, and now please, can I get to the clip? But all I'm pointing out is if somebody's listening to that 7%, I get how that person would say, hey, this person agrees with me. I understand why people would listen to that. That's all I'm saying is I understand how it's done. I'm talking about the thinking is done. I don't disagree with that because I get how people do that. That's all I'm saying. It's not 100% of doctors and scientists that take vaccines. It's not. But anyway, let me get to the next clip.
I bet you it's 100% virologists and immunologists to take it though. See, you keep
I
slipping off
understand
the
that,
point.
and I'm just giving credence to
Don't
that.
please slip off the point on purpose. And I keep saying doctors don't matter. I keep saying it, and now to your point, I can see how a person.
And that's the only point I made. So why are you arguing with that? That's the point I made.
With that, I'm saying I need to make it clear, yo. I don't need the foolery to come behind it because it's foolery. Because you forgot you're dealing with ignorance, so you act like you're dealing with wisdom and knowledge.
You just keep calling everything ignorant. If I can understand why a person would do it, then you shouldn't call it ignorant. Yeah.
You can be ignorant and educate yourself and no longer be ignorant on something. There's nothing wrong with being ignorant, Monte. We're ignorant to most things in the world, bro. That's okay. It's only negative when you're ignorant. And don't
get
know
it,
the
bro.
word.
I get it. I get it.
Play the clip. What you got?
So
let's see if you can get past
no. I know. I understand.
Let me see. Go ahead.
So gotta get past what?
Let me see if you can play the clip without messing it up. Talking to me.
Y'all know, right? That's definitely the part of it. That's work like hell right there. I ain't gonna lie about that. All right. Let's see. The next one is. This is why I hate having to share it because I have to go find them real quick. All right, let's go here. Because when I queue them up, they just play they play on the screen right away.
Seems like your ignorance is getting you. Your ignorance of this technology.
Here we go.
But I can understand.
Yeah, real. That's true.
You can't learn how to do it. I can understand.
Scientists annually come in from academia to serve the country. These are scientists that come in and advise the Justice Department, the Senate, the House, the White House. These rotating positions were not only good for the government, they're also good for scientists themselves to get a taste of how the sausage is made in governance, especially when governance needs and relies upon the advice of scientists. So here's what has happened. Many of those positions that rotate in and out no longer exists. These rotating positions included, for example, the National Science Foundation. You'd have scientists from academia doing tours of duty in and out of the National Science Foundation to bring their expertise into a government agency that doesn't always have access to the moving frontier of that expertise. Not only that, what does the NIH do? The National Institutes for Health? They have grant money that goes to research that's not conducted within the government. It's conducted by scientists in universities. This is one of the fundamental roles American universities have played in the strengthening of the United States in the 20th century. Universities are not just some places students go to learn and get degrees. Yes, it's also that, and yes, it's importantly that. But the intellectual capital that resides in the scientific community of universities has no equal in the world. And the government knows this. So the government says, we want to do some extra research here and there. We don't have that expertise. Here's grant money to the university, go build a lab, do the research. Not only that, what we have learned in 20th century research in science is you cannot predictate what role and value curiosity-driven research will play in the future of your economy, in the future of your health, in the future of your security. You cannot predetermine that because you have no idea. You might have read recently that research into the venom of the Gila monster, this big lizard, research on that venom led to the development of the GLP-1 weight loss medications. Who would have thought that? Maybe not even the scientists themselves. The point is, curiosity-driven research extends the frontier in all directions. And you don't know in advance what connections will be made off of those frontiers. You don't know.
So that was a clip from Neil deGrasse Tyson just talking about what's happening in current state. And that kind of goes into what Preem talked about, right? Where he was saying we're at a state now where our brightest minds are considering leaving the country. And so Degrassi is breaking down the realities of, in a sense, not having these different rotating scientists have these positions because this current administration has cut that back. And so what I'm wanting to highlight with these Fauci trials, when we say the truth about Fauci, is there is a bigger agenda behind just getting Fauci with the cutting of the funding for these positions. And then Neil deGrasse breaks down how curiosity and science inadvertently can lead to things that help our society. That's why I thought it was cool when he says, hey, they were working on studying the venom of the Gila monster. And something being studied over there is now something that's being used heavily in our society for all of these weight loss medicines, whether you agree or disagree with them. He's just pointing out this research over here had nothing at all to do with what it ended up being used for. But without having these scientists in these positions, without these scientists being in the lab, these discoveries that could be used to help humans evolve, to continue to evolve, as you always highlight with evolution. Most of it's done now with brain power, not just physically how we show up in the world, right? Like for the most part, we're not going to see humans look any different before we die or whatever. So our evolution all comes from our actual science and how we, our innate, all human living creatures, innate ability is how do I live longer? Mm-hmm. And humans do it with their brains. Mm-hmm. Whereas, to give a quick example, and just to highlight this, just about a year ago, they had studied these particular birds out in California. I forget which bird it was, but sometimes evolution does show up in our lifetime because evolution is such a very, very, very slow process, and it shows up even in mammals, even in our lifetime. Here's a quick example. Like humans, we won't evolve in this manner. Again, our evolution comes inside of our brains and what we can think of and come up with. But just about a year ago, they had finished the studies on these particular birds out in California that prior to the pandemic, their beaks were longer. Like these certain their beaks were longer. And then what happened during the pandemic when the world got shut down, these birds, because they still had close proximity to humans, more humans were not at work, outside, and how they feed the pigeons, these particular birds started getting a lot of their food from humans because these particular birds were outside putting out food to feed birds. Like more people were doing it. So this particular breed of birds, they literally, because they were getting so much food from humans, they had a generation over the couple of years. Their beaks were shorter because they didn't have to dig in the ground for food as much.
Yep.
That literally happened, some evolution in our lifetime. So I'm just kind of using this side story to highlight the biggest thing that Neil deGrasse is talking about is if we now become less scientific. I'm talking about because culturally we now demonize someone like a Fauci, and now we don't have to listen to the experts, the actual biologists. I might say the word wrong, but
you said the right biologists. You good?
Biologists, the people that are doing that specific work, and we start now not trusting them. We're gonna basically stunt our own evolution. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, so we also seen it in Charles Darwin finches on the Galapagos Island, where we seen evolution in real time, based off of they beak size, right? Because of a flood. A flood came in, and the birds that had larger beaks could get you the worms, could get you the food supply, right? But the birds who didn't have long enough beaks, right, to get you the food supply based off of the being flooded out, right? They died, and only the ones who had larger beaks could reproduce valuable offspring, which some of them had larger beaks, and pass those genes on. So we actually seen it. We also see rapid evolution in lizards. And so we see it in real time. So I just wanted to kind of add that to that. But I wasn't familiar with the example you gave, which is a great example. That's a good one.
Right. And I'm just kind of leaning it towards ours is done with brain power. And that's what we're at risk of if people no longer trust experts. Because this trial with Fauci is a put on for those who want us to no longer trust experts. So right now we currently live in an environment
deaf against expertise. Right. And that's why what we do is so valuable. The mental dialogue gets you mentally ready. The scientific literacy helps you in your decision making. And like you had a great dialogue with what's his name, man? Boyce Watkins. Great dialogue. He wasn't a match for you. He wasn't. I want y'all to check out that episode. It's a great one. Montre did a great job when he was absolutely trying to act like you shouldn't vote. He was trying to play that card, but you didn't allow him to do that, and so we appreciate that dialogue. We when you get to a certain position, you need to be challenged, right? You just do be. So back to the vaccines. I understand what it's like not to understand and challenge through my misunderstanding. So I'd be a hypocrite if I was to say I don't.
Okay, exactly.
But what I'm saying is the situation was so dire, like nobody just shuts down the whole world for no reason.
But people think we did it for no reason, though. Like, yeah. I'm not defending. I'm just saying, but people do feel like we did it for no reason.
But listen, at a certain point, then you one of the ones that's not gonna make it anyway. You're gonna be somebody.
They're still here. You're Aaron Rodgers. I'm still here, safe with no problems. Again, you and I understand. You and I both understand herd immunity.
Go off into the abyss somewhere. He's a millionaire. He can say all that.
I get it, but I'm just saying, there's plenty of people that are here that didn't get vaccinated. So we shouldn't always go to the extreme to explain our position. Is all I'm saying. Like, people are here that didn't take the vaccine. They didn't die off. So I'm just saying we can still explain our position without going
No, that's not what I'm saying.
But I just want to highlight that people hear it like you're saying they're going to die.
Okay, well, let me say this. You personally taking the vaccine, you may not be, you may not have been affected, right? We don't know, and you don't know. See, that's the point. You don't know, right? And let me kind of backtrack to a powerful statement you made. Your statement was, it was something around, because I wrote it down. How the virus itself is worse than the vaccine. Right. Meaning there is no, it's a statement you said. I can't think of it.
Yeah. Well, I know something that I always say, I may not have said it on this show, but something that I've always tried to explain to people, basically the process to how all medicines are released to market or whatever. The decision is made simply by this. It's basically it's basically risk reward. Yeah. All medicine is released to any medicine, not just vaccines. It's based on, okay, what is the risk of getting the condition?
Of course.
Versus can the medicine that we create, can it significantly decrease that risk? And specifically provides vaccines, especially the older, like you always say, we're in third generation with this mRNA, but especially the previous two versions of vaccines that included typically a live pathogen, right? A live thing in it. So what happened was this vaccine, especially the early ones, they may give you a little case of the actual thing that if you just got the virus would give you. But the thing was just to create the immune reaction. But the comparison to releasing that vaccine to the public would always be, was there a significant difference between the risk of the virus versus taking this vaccine.
All right, so
They don't release no medicine if it's not a significant
yeah, it
difference.
don't make sense. So let me add this. And this is a simple thing for those who don't understand, right? And I may or may not understand why you don't understand, but I think you can actually get this. No matter what y'all say out y'all mouth, no matter, I got people writing in the chat about the diary. Okay, put the diary on that side. I got people talking about dangerous, that and other. Put all that on the side. What we do know for a fact, that we all agree, right, that the COVID-19 virus was definitely more dangerous than the daggone vaccine.
All people don't agree with that.
Right, I know.
Oh, you saying? Oh, you saying all the scientific community? Oh, you saying the scientific community?
Let me finish my point.
Yeah, my bad. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Of course you don't agree, but if you was to read a piece of paper, see, you can't get out of this without reading. You can't get out of this without listening to a good podcast on the subject. If you're not listening to a good podcast on, at least mix it up. If we say myocarditis, right? Events of myocarditis is higher than people that was unvaccinated. Okay, although vaccines will create small conditions of myocarditis, but not at the level of the actual vaccine itself. So see the vaccine win, right? Blood clots. There are a small percentage of people that take the vaccine that will get blood clots, but it's a much, much higher percentage of people, right, that quote unquote catch blood clots who catch the COVID virus. And we can keep going on and on and on and on and on. So at the end of the day, if you just read, now you can't be ignorant, you have to read. See, and if you don't read, you willfully want to harm people. You willfully want to put people in a situation, and really you don't actually care about us. So at the end of the day, Montoya, we can't really, the best thing we can do for them people is get vaccinated. You get it? So that at least if an unvaccinated person runs into a vaccinated person, right, it stops, it helps slow down the spread to a person who may have underlying conditions and can't get vaccinated. Right. And back to those doctors again, you're right, it's 96% of the doctors, 96. Right, that are vaccinated, right? Okay. But out of that 96%, out of the rest of that number, the 6%, no, it's not. I think it's 96, right?
I thought it was 93 the last time I looked, but if you just recently looked up, it's 96.
It's actually
so 4%. Okay, yeah, I've never seen that high, but that's either way. But okay, fair enough.
Okay, so you got 4% left, but out of 4% of that, right, you got 45% of that plan to get vaccinated, and don't forget there are certain people who can't get vaccinated,
but based on their body.
Right, okay. Because they might get a reaction or something like that, right? And so that's a super high number there, right?
I agree.
And so that even proves our point. It's like this, Montoya. Youth, at-risk youth, in marginalized communities, right? Those who have literacy below the level will find themselves in juvenile detention, right? Those who find themselves in juvenile detention find themselves in jail more often than those that didn't go through juvenile detention. But watch this. Once they get in jail and they become literate, they return to jail less often.
I see your point.
You get it.
Yeah, but very good point.
Right?
And again,
so
right.
It's always literacy and education. And marginalized communities suffer that. See, this is what they can't deny. They don't deal with the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room is that black people died 2 times more than white people did.
Unfortunately.
I'm going to say it again. Black people died 2 times more than white people did. So out of everybody, right, you should have been following procedures. You can't play this wild game where you just listen to Ankh or listen to Montoya or listen to a wild the president. At a certain point, somebody around you got to be intelligent. Somebody around you got to say, "Well, hold on, we got to be able to weigh everything." I know why you feel that way, but we got to weigh everything, and let's hear what our responses are. If your response is just silly craziness, at a certain point you got to weigh. Now, my Uncle Jerry. One of my favorite human beings. You met Uncle Jerry. You talked to Uncle Jerry before. Anti-vaxxer to that. And I mean, had everything. We on the show. You was on the show with his Montoya. You was like, man, that man going in the refrigerator. Remember the other guy? You was like, he going in the refrigerator. Remember? Are you trusting the FDA? My Uncle Jerry, he talking crazy. We be like, man, listen, bro. We huddled up. We was like, this nigga, excuse my language. We was like, he too old to be playing this game. His chest stuck out. We talked to his wife, right? His sisters, you know, everybody, everybody was they heard me. They heard what I'm saying. Yo, they be like, hey, bro, you got to get vaccinated. Oh, no. They made that man get vaccinated. Now at the cookouts, he like anti-vax. I started laughing. I say, well, you know, you got that vaccine though, and you ain't dead. We all started laughing. But I'm saying, man, we can't afford to play with people, man, because they afraid. A lot of people are afraid of needles. It's a lot of things, but what you can do when you're how about this, Montoya? What do you think about?
Let me jump in so I can get some of these clips too, man.
All right, go ahead. I just wanted to go ahead.
I hear again. I respect it again. The dialogue is just to provide a perspective that maybe people haven't heard. I got a brother who says Fauci got sick twice after the vaccine himself. Shaking my head, and he was a lead scientist.
Good question.
And he let it continue even though he was affected. And I saw Stephen A. Smith say this as well, because Stephen A., as animated as he is, and to your point earlier in the show, Aaron Rodgers and Stephen A. Smith, we're talking about sports people and we're listening to them, right? And again, why should y'all even listen to, Brother Ankh and me? So I get it. I ain't knocking y'all if we dogging out Aaron Rodgers and Stephen Smith, you can apply that same thought process to us. I am not mad at you. That's actually thinking. I will give you credit for that. Here, I want to address what this brother is saying though. So when I saw Stephen A. Smith, he says, "Oh man, I still got it, and I almost died." And the whole time I'm thinking, again,
crazy.
I didn't go crazy, but
it's crazy.
I know you said it. I'm just saying I didn't go crazy. I just said due to my scientific literacy, I understood that Fauci never told him or this nation that you could not get it. And I'm saying this to the brother that's here. And the reason I'm saying that is because there are always breakout cases. I remember I had a good friend of mine tell me, because you may not remember this, but I said it on your show the other day. But because this thing was such a serious thing, and because a year, like I said on the show earlier, because I was worried.
You said that wrong. Stephen A.
No, listen what I'm about to say.
He almost died from the COVID, not the vaccine.
Oh yeah, my bad. COVID. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No. Oh yeah. I'm saying yeah. But because his point was because when I saw Stephen F., the reason he's dogging Fauci out is because he said I still got it and I almost died because I still
he wasn't vaccinated yet. No. He just said he caught.
No. He was vaccinated. Let's get that clear.
No.
I'm telling you, Stephen A. was vaccinated.
I don't think so.
Well, I understand you don't think so. I'm telling you,
I'm gonna play the clip.
Okay, you go get it then. But you go. He definitely.
Because I'm gonna go get that. And I could be wrong.
He vaccinated and boosted. That was his point. Right now, you're getting in the way of me trying to make a point to this brother because you don't know the facts. Now you don't know the facts. Get it.
So I'm doing like you be doing me.
Yeah, man, I know. But you got at least.
Apologize.
It's all good. It's all good. So without knowing the facts, you're making it hard for me to answer this brother.
I'll be like you for 1 minute on this show.
But I'm trying to answer this brother. This ain't you. I'm trying to answer this brother.
I wanted to be like you do me.
No, you did it. You did it. You got me. You got me. But let me answer this brother.
All right, go ahead.
So where I'm going is Stephen A. was vaccinated and had the booster, and he still got it. And he's basically saying Fauci in this trial, he was like, Fauci needs to apologize. I still got it. Like I'm telling you, this is how Steve A. is going. This brother is saying Fauci caught it twice. So let me give you the science literacy of it. I had a friend of mine who also tried to say Fauci said you couldn't get it. Now this is where I was going. I said, I don't know if you remember this, but back when I did my vaccine trial, at the time, I don't watch TV. So I was only researching everything to see what the scientists were actually saying about this new virus. So I was doing it all through my own research. I had never heard anything Fauci said because I don't have TV, right? So I was never necessarily listening to Fauci. I had a friend of mine say, hey man, Fauci said you can't get it. My first response to my friend telling me this was, I can't believe that the head of the head doctor on this actually said something like that.
Man,
I know he didn't, but I'm just telling you, I'm just giving you a process. So, but at the time I didn't know because I don't watch TV. So I told the brother, I said, send me what the doctor has said you can't get it if you get the vaccine. And literally the video he sent me was Fauci talking to this brother, being documented, talking to this brother on the porch. And the brother on the porch who didn't want to take it says to Fauci, hey, yeah, you know, can you not get it if I get the vaccine? And Fauci literally says, if you get it, it'll be more like a cold versus the people that are, it'll be like you recovering from the cold versus the people that are being hospitalized. And so, and I called a brother who told me, I says, brother, the same video you just sent me where you said, he said you could not get it, that ain't what he said. So I want to say to this brother watching it, there are always breakout cases. There are always breakout cases. And so if you were of the belief that if you got the vaccine that you could not get it, you didn't get that from a scientist. You got that because people put it together in their own heads and heard it that way. And that's just the reality of that moment. So that's what I wanted to say, you know, to this brother, that Fauci getting it twice is no different than people having breakout cases. I even had the same brother who sent me that video said, I got a video where he said it. He sent me a video again, and literally I don't know if you remember this, but Fauci literally was talking about the 7 New York Yankee guys who had got it, and they had got the vaccine. They were breakout cases. And so Fauci was literally talking about the breakout cases, and this brother was of the belief that Fauci, they had cut up Fauci videos to the point of making it seem like Fauci had said you can't get it. People were literally cutting up the clips. That's why you believe these things that are not scientifically literate, because people were cutting up clips to make it look like that's what he said. And I literally said to the brother, I said, he's literally talking about breakout cases. So there's no way he could be telling you you can't get it when he's talking about the 7 guys who were breakout cases in the Yankees. Do you understand what I'm saying, bro? The brother thought he was sending me a video of Fauci saying you couldn't get it, while Fauci was literally talking about people who were breakout cases. Do you understand what I'm saying, brother? Because I don't know if you're paying me any attention or not. Or you're on mute then, maybe. Yeah, you're on mute. I don't know if you mean to be on mute.
I heard you, but what you mean Fauci got sick? What you mean? He didn't get sick after getting the vaccine. You saying he got COVID after getting vaccinated, right?
Yeah, that's what the young brother is saying. And I'm just breaking down the literacy of having breakout cases.
What? It say Fauci got sick twice. He talking about got the thing. Okay, it was mild though. The man was 81 years old. He had mild symptoms. What are you saying? If he wouldn't have got vaccinated, he might have been.
What he's saying, that's what you're not. But yeah, so you're doing your own thing right now. Just the dialogue is trying to talk to have an understanding dialogue. The brother is just simply saying, this comment that I have here lets me know that he was of the belief that you could not get it, and I was just highlighting how people got to that belief, and that science was never telling them that they could not get it.
No, I'm saying I like to be precise with my word. I don't know what he mean got sick. Meaning you can get vaccinated and get sick from the vaccine itself. You get it? Like you can show symptoms from the vaccine. That means it's working. Okay. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he meaning.
Okay, I'm gonna make the assumptions that he's talking about that he got COVID.
Okay, all right. I don't get that from that.
Because that's what, and I was highlighting that's what Stephen A was saying in his recent clip about Fauci.
So you keep talking and let me find it. I don't think.
Oh, that's okay. No wonder you ain't listening. You're trying to find a clip.
No,
you're gonna be wrong as hell about that.
The comment it say Fauci got sick twice after taking.
I know. I now realize why you're not listening to me, because you're trying to find the clip. I can't wait till you find it.
Continued.
I hope you find it quick so you can pay attention to this show.
So I don't know if he was saying that he.
I get it. I agree. I understand what you get. I'm not arguing with you on that.
We've read it 2 different ways.
I'm not even on that. I just finally realize why you're not listening.
No, bro. So I'm thinking you misreading the sentence. Cause getting sick, what? We all got sick after most part got sick after.
We on the same page. I understand that we read it differently. I'm not arguing with you.
That's all I'm saying. You said I ain't paying attention to you. It's just hard to agree if I'm thinking something different. Cause I'm thinking, man, that's how we know it's working when you felt sick. Shoot. What do you mean? Did he say infected with COVID?
I just had another dialogue about a whole bunch of other stuff. But go ahead and find the clip. Please go find it.
All right, let me find it.
Yeah, because I know that's where you're focused. Now it's making sense. I was talking about other stuff, not just what he said. But anyway, let me keep going. Here's another clip, y'all, from Neil deGrasse. All right, let me see. Share. Still working through.
But
this.
from
Not this one. Hold on. Share screen. All right, here we go. This is this one. I would like, if you can hear me, please pay attention to the actual clip versus looking for that, because I want you to respond directly to this clip. This is the most important clip of this video, in my opinion. So please listen to what deGrasse says this time, please. I'm begging you, so we can respond directly to it, because this is the whole reason that's worth even doing this video. Here we go.
How to create, store, and retrieve. Visiting scientists annually come in from academia to serve the country. You do that?
Wrong one.
Using quantum physics. Oh my gosh. Who in the 1920s would have said, we're doing this because one day we'll have personal computers? No, nobody's thinking that. This is all backdrop to my point. Within the last 2 years, we've lost more than 15,000 scientists from the ranks of the federal government. Not only that, grant money from major funding agencies of the government has been reduced, so that we have fewer scientists doing research on government funding. You look at the titles of some of the papers, or the titles of the grant proposals. They have a research paper that maybe 100 people in the world at most understand the title. And it's like, I don't see why that's relevant to anything. Therefore, I don't want to fund it. Let's cut it. And then you cut it, and it looks like you're saving money, when what you're doing is you're cutting out at the kneecaps the future competitiveness of this nation in the three things that we care most about: our health, our wealth, and our security. Because the history of that exercise tells us exactly that. The government loses 15,000 scientists, and if you think all the science research you need to do is on the R&D ledger of a corporation, you are sadly mistaken. So what is happening? Our labs here in the United States, the funding is dropping. We can't sustain the lab. We can't sustain graduate students, postdocs. What's a postdoc? A person who gets a PhD and still has some energy and some creativity to do some research. They don't want to be a professor yet, so they get to spend 3 years, 4 years, 6 years doing just research in a lab. You don't have money for that. As the person who runs the lab evaporates. Do you realize I have colleagues who've gotten a phone call from Germany, from France, from Spain, saying, we've got a fully funded lab here. I know your expertise, and I know you're running out of funding. Why don't you bring your whole operation to us? We're now getting cherry-picked by other countries. Yeah, that's what we kind of did for the second half of the 20th century. But now the tables are reversed. We're losing our scientific base. Europe understands what's going on. You know who else understands what's going on? China. Here's an interesting vignette about China. Initially, Chinese students came to the United States to study graduate subjects in the physical sciences, and they stayed. Meanwhile, China is growing. China's economy is growing. They're getting their act together. Have you seen pictures of Shanghai lately? Any part of it? This is a city of the future, right? So meanwhile, China's ascending. So what happens? The next generation of Chinese graduate students, because that first generation came and stayed. The second generation got trained and went back to China to build the next generation of graduate programs. The third generation of Chinese graduate students are not here because they're being trained in China and they're staying in China. This is a slide. It's not a cliff. If you fell off a cliff or were pushed off a cliff, you would notice that, but it's a slide. And as we continue down this slide, and as scientists are cherry-picked, as labs are evaporating, as scientists are retiring and not replaced, there's an intellectual vacuum scientific vacuum that is descending upon the United States. And that has consequences. I'm not here to tell people.
So that's big, brother. That's the reality of what's happening when we cut out 15,000 scientists out of the government. That's a lot of scientists. 15,000 scientists have been defunded because they don't understand what Neil deGrasse just brilliantly broke down. He said some of them were studying things that only 100 scientists in the whole world understood. And these are absolutely the innovations that help us survive as a species. But more importantly, because again, I do the politically conscious show, the geopolitics of this is how you also let, again, we have been the lone superpower since the fall of the Soviet Union. And now the geopolitics with China becomes the competition of these countries that have been around much longer than our country. Our 250-year history is short compared to China. They play the long game. So the long game was the premier universities with this type of research is in the United States. So the long game was to send the first generation to the United States, and we stay. That's what they did. The second generation, because this is, again, the leading place in the world to do this research. We were funding it. We were a capitalistic society with enough money to fund it. They stayed here, and the second generation went back and started building, as Neil deGrasse says, these futuristic cities. People always talk about how much faster Japan and China is when it comes to technology. You know, we were late on 5G. They way ahead of us on that, right? This is how. This is why. And now they stay in China because they've spent, they play the long game. So they're 3 generations in on, hey, let's send our best to where they can learn from the best, which happened to be our country for the last half a century. Now they've played the long game and now have the best in their countries. And this dialogue right now, to bring this full circle, is a whole dialogue about whether the virus even was originated naturally or somehow in Wuhan because they did some because they were funded to do some gain of function. So I don't deny no facts that they were funded to do some gain of function. The facts are the facts. People mistakenly convolute that gain of function stuff with saying, "Hey, that virus was created there as well." That's the convolution. Yes, Wuhan was funded with U.S. money by Fauci to do some gain of function. The facts are the facts. The convolution is to let people politicize this and connect the two when they are not connected. I don't have no problem speaking the facts, but those things are not connected, and there's no scientific evidence that leans towards lab leak theory. The evidence all leans to origin. So, those are my thoughts about what deGrasse said. Your thoughts, brother?
Let me say this. So, I have read no scientific papers that has scientific data that points to a lab leak. So the very statement of saying there are scientists that agree it's a lab leak is hogwash, because as a scientist, you can't say it. You have to have the documented data, or it's just your personal opinion. It should never be confused with published works in the Journal of Nature, in the Journal of Science, and the Journal of Virology. Just because you feel a certain way, and just because you think that there's a scientist an immunologist out there talking about, I think with the shots kind of reactivated cancer.
Right. I'm
That's your
gonna
personal
challenge you because
opinion.
I'm gonna challenge you.
Bro, let me
I'm gonna
finish.
challenge you. That was the
You
least
gotta
of
let
my
me
points. I
finish.
hope you
Finish, though,
jump
yo.
into
You
the
gotta
bigger
let.
points
Why you do
from the
this, man?
Degrassi video.
I'm gonna keep talking. Then I'm gonna keep
I
talking.
just hope that you
I'm gonna keep
don't
talking. And so
hone in on the part that
basically, your
matters the least.
personal opinion is your personal opinion. And so I never want the audience to think that there's scientific published work that points to a lab leak. It is not.
Okay, I get it. Now, what about the bigger point of where we're at as a
I
country? If
spoke on it at the beginning of the show. I said
I'm just saying, any
scientists
response
are
to what Neil
leaving
deGrasse had to say?
America based off you trying to crucify and imprison scientists for doing good science. They supposed to leave. They supposed to get the hell out of the wild, wild west. And I understand why they would leave. The funding is not there. You got the wild guy head of our health. Nobody cares about that. Nobody cares about our health. Nobody cares about our damn health. Right? You got the top-notch anti-vaxxer in charge of our vaccines and our health. I would leave two of our scientists. You got Fauci, who's like he was the lead scientist through the pandemic, right? He did a great job on a novel virus. And if you don't understand the word novel, then you don't understand nothing I'm saying out my mouth, because the word novel is essential to the conversation. Simply put, the word novel means for the first time in humanity. Humanity only been around 350,000 years or so. This particular pathogen, novel SARS-CoV-2, hit the quote-unquote immune system of humans. That means on Monday, I may say, you don't need to wear a mask. You could, but you don't need to wear a mask. We want to make sure essential personnel have masks because they're working with infected people, but you may not need masks. On Friday, you may say, you know what? We need masks. See, I read books that let me know how they started to figure out how it's transmitted.
Right.
Listen to an inspector. He was a infectious disease inspector, right? Meaning he tracks down infectious diseases. And he was doing a study in a plant showing that people was infected. As they was walking out the plant, they was coughing. The workers behind them wasn't sick. 3 to 4 days later, the workers that was walking behind the guy was sick, and he was like, I think it to be airborne. Prior to that, remember they had you wiping everything off with bleach? Y'all remember that? Remember all that? Couldn't find no bleach in the stores because they thought it was transmitted by droplets on the daggone thing. They figured out that it's transmitted through the droplets in the air. Right? They figured it out, right? Matter of fact, I'll give y'all, anybody got a computer? Look at your daggone screen. Look real close to your screen. You're going to see every time you talk, you spitting on your daggone screen. What the mask do is stop you from spitting on other people, you know what I'm saying, potentially getting them sick. So yes, they didn't know that at the beginning of the pandemic, ladies and gentlemen. No matter what y'all pseudo say, I understand why you don't understand that. But what I can't understand is, why don't you educate yourself on the subject before you potentially hurt somebody? And Montoya, that I can never understand. I can understand why they would get it wrong. I have empathy for that. What I can't understand when it comes down to their grandmother and their babies that they claim to love, why wouldn't they take the steps to look at both sides of it? That's what I don't understand. That means you have no love. You have no love for your people.
That's not true. That's not true.
I don't really love them. I want to be right. See, that's a little bit different, Montoya, from not understanding.
That is not. People don't have the capacity to do what we were doing, bro. And
why you don't understand
that because people make those. What
I don't understand is how you don't educate yourself on both sides.
People trying to make a living, man. You don't have time to do that all the time. All right, my goal of trying to educate people on this process during the pandemic, when I was doing those videos intentionally, and it's just trying to give people the exact information, I understood how people did. My life was set up to where I had time to do that research. I understand how people don't have time to do that.
So low, it must be me.
Yeah, I understand why people don't have time to do that. And people just don't. People don't have the capacity to educate themselves on everything. So that's partly why. Think about it. Part of the reason why you even do this is because you are an enthusiast to the extent that you do the research, and so you deliver it to others because you understand they don't always have time. If everybody was doing what you did, nobody would need to do a video on what's good and what's not. So people don't always have time. I understand that, and I get it at 1,000%. I understand that. All right, here's
So
another video.
Montoya, can I say this though? I got a comment in the chat say I have a computer, I never spit on it. See, I don't understand how that person don't take his computer, take a look, and put it all the way up to his face and see that nigga, you do spit on it. You see, I don't understand that. And I can never understand that because I would challenge Unc. Unc, you're lying. See, that's in me to check. I'm a challenge Montoya. Wait a minute, man. You say I don't spit on my thing, but I'm a check.
I bet he just checked. I bet he just checked, huh?
No, I bet he didn't.
Hey, I bet you what he did. I bet he did. I bet he checked. And hey, watch this. I bet he did. And what he did was, because you said it, he made sure he talked without speaking. So he proved you wrong. Even using your phone.
It's a build up over time. That's what
I know. But I'm just saying, I bet you he just checked your ass, and that's why he wrote that comment.
Drop the link. Hey, why don't you drop the link, Montoya?
All right, man. Let me see. Tell me how to do it. So I got the copy the link.
Copy the link, drop it in the chat, man. Jump up here, Cedric. Cedric actually.
So where do I put it at inside of StreamYard? Where do I go to make sure people see it?
You gonna see it. Click it. You know, the same way you sent me the link. Go right back to that. And then drop it right here.
All right, I'm gonna drop it. You tell me if it's in there or not. So I did it. Hopefully it did. All right. I don't want to let y'all come up on the stage. I don't do that as much on my show, but I'm gonna do it with him because this is both of our shows. Thank you.
Yeah. But no, we gotta stay on the topic though. The topic.
Yeah, for sure.
How to understand.
I did just drop it. Let me know if it's in there. I'm gonna go ahead and play the next clip. It's in there. All right. Yeah. Anybody that's watching, if you want to jump up on here, we'll let you jump on as long as you know, as he said, staying on top.
Tell them what the topic is, Montoya. How you want
right now, what we call this show was The Truth About Fauci, the Mental Dialogue Perspective, which is my show, but I'm simultaneously broadcasting with on Pseudo Killers, and we're just having a dialogue about really understanding the various perspectives, but also we're highlighting what we consider are the risk of becoming anti-scientific as a culture, because I do offer that trial with Fauci where he pleaded 111 times, pleaded the fifth. We didn't get into the specific dialogue of that, but I'm highlighting I understand how that show pony makes us less scientific, and I wanted to highlight what's at risk, whether you've heard this or not. So that's the dialogue that me and Unc have been having. So it's kind of like, whether you agree or disagree with Fauci, here's the state of where we are as a country based on people making science political. Science and politics, as Unc said, go together in the sense of the government should support it, but we shouldn't politicize actual scientific outcomes. And that's my soapbox personally right now in reference to this. So hopefully that gives y'all a context of the dialogue that we're having. And I'm going to play another clip because Aunt brought this guy up. And here's another reality of where we are. And it's cool if you disagree. We're just dialoguing, trying to explain to you what we understand about things like this. And Aunt brought this guy up. We talked about him on the Politically Conscious show. So I'm going to play a super short clip because here's a reality of where we're at, whether we realize it or not. I'm going to play two clips. I'm going to play the clip from this lady, and I'm going to show y'all what we said on the Politically Conscious show just a few days ago. So let me share this clip.
Because of their anti-science crusade, we are now dealing with a screwworm infestation that we had successfully eradicated back in the 60s. We're looking at the largest number of measles cases that we've seen in a generation. And we are dealing with an absolutely absurd food safety crisis like diarrhea lettuce. This is what happens when you replace epidemiologists and researchers with conspiracy theorists.
Great clip, bro.
And let me go into this clip of what we said on the Politically Conscious show about that clip. Again, this is just giving perspectives, but that, you know, that lady is pointing out something with having RFK. Like, just to say this, I said this on the show too, and this ain't on the clip. I highlighted, like, when RFK was getting confirmed, he promised that he wouldn't fire the 12 people at the on the CDC panel. So he ended up coming in office, and 6 months later, he fired them and replaced one of the epidemiologists with a project manager. Like literally, we have in our country right now, we have a project manager as one of the head people of the panel at the CDC. A project manager instead of an actual scientist. Like that's how far this has went. But here's what, brother. This like the 12 people on the panel. They asked him, "Are you going to go after them?" He said, "I would not." Because remember, they was challenging him about whether he was an anti-vaxxer or not. I'm talking about during his confirmation hearing for getting the job. So when they were doing, he said he was not going to go after them.
Lied.
6 months later, he fired them and replaced one of the 12 with a project manager. They're not no scientific background whatsoever. Literally, that's to somebody at the CDC right now. But anyway, let me.
They got a new director at the CDC. It's a sister.
Yeah, definitely a sister, and that sister actually has a great background compared to the people he hired before her.
Yeah, but will she get fired though?
I hope not, but yeah,
she's a pro-vax. She's pro-vax.
Yeah, she is pro-vax. She absolutely is.
You would have to be. You would just have to be.
Well, right now we're in a state, like I said, the lady what the sister just laid out is why you got to go get
Erica Swartz.
That's why you got to go get an Erica Swartz because of the cut we just played. Like even they realize for all of their stuff, they realize we better get somebody who knows something about this shit.
We doing too much.
Hold
on, wait. So then
even they realize it.
So that's my point.
Right.
That's my point. Once everything starts shifting, things start to become unusually wild. Measles is up, all that. So all what you thought you believed is going to change some people's minds, bro. Right? So my question to you is, after we see the lettuce thing and something else going on now, the jalapenos.
Screwworm show back up. Haven't been around for 60 years.
Okay,
screwworms back. Haven't been around for 60. We eradicated it. It's back.
Amazing shows to do. Oh shoot, you got all that right. So can you understand why certain people still fighting against that? I noticed the show. Can you still understand?
I can still understand it because here it is. How many people know that sister who's pro-vaccine just got put in position? So my point being, to your point,
who's that sister?
No, I'm talking about the sister. You just about Swartz.
Okay. Swartz.
What I'm saying is, you and I are able to decipher. Oh, they bringing back people with knowledge now that they've spent a year and a half messing it up. Like you and I can acknowledge that, but I also understand that right now the majority of the public doesn't know. The majority of public isn't aware that measles are up. So that's why I still understand it. Most people don't know that measles.
So watch this, and I don't want this to happen to nobody. So now you got families not vaccinating their kids, right? So now when you don't vaccinate your kids and they catch the measles or the chickenpox, specifically the measles, there's an offshoot thing that could actually happen to them that could potentially end their life. So when you sit there and your kid catch this thing and the doctor say, well, are the kids vaccinated? You say no. Then they say, well, this is a result of catching the measles, but now it's nothing we can do for your kid. And that moment is when you recognize it. It's the craziest thing ever. When somebody close to you that you could have potentially saved dies because of it. Family member, a person at the job, right? I'm saying at that point it's too late. That's why we never listen to the ignorant amongst us. And that's why it's important to, like you say, it's important to vote. You cannot have leadership like we got right now and expect things to run right and expect us to maintain a certain level of excellence in science and technology when you got flaming pseudos at the daggone helm. Conspiracy theories. Listen, man, for a long time, the world was ran with conspiracy theories. Prior to science, where they go on the witch hunt. You know the witch hunts? When the person was educated in herbs and they thought they was a witch because they was giving you certain things that was helping you out, but they deemed it as being a witch and they killed the witch hunt, Salem witch hunt. Oh my goodness, ignorance, man. So I don't care what you say, Montoya. Although I understand you should not potentially put your unknowing children at risk, and you should never put people outside of yourself in harm's way. You should just not do that. I got that. I don't.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm just kind of challenging you that I do understand that plenty of people. Just hear me out. plenty of people will get the measles, and at the end of the day, 99% will not die. Like measles is definitely designated at 1% mortality rate. And so all I'm saying to you is I get that when you lean into if you don't do it, somebody's gonna die. I get how people logically go through. We didn't used to have a vaccine, and plenty of people live through measles. I get that. I just get that retort. I understand that it's scientifically illiterate. I do understand that, but I understand how people, as I love to say, the word you taught me, science is counterintuitive. So because science is counterintuitive, I understand someone going, okay, you tell me I'm going to put my child at risk, but there's plenty of people who don't die from measles. That's going to be the retort because that's what common sense says. That's why I understand it. I understand the common sense response. That's all that I understand. I am not saying they're right. I know that it's not scientifically literate, but I understand the response. That's all I'm saying to you with that. All right, I'm trying to find this one little short for what we said on the show. See if I can share it real quick. All right, hope I do a good job of sharing it. I had to cue it up real quick. All right, let me go back and share the screen. All right, let me make sure. So I'm doing share screen, and I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play this clip that I just loaded up today. It's and it's coming piggybacking off of what that lady just said about RFK.
Look, Trump's weaponization of the entire governmental system, our whole system of democracy.
You gotta mute your mic, Montour. You mute your mic.
He's going to do this, right? And he's doing it. So yeah, RFK, he's a weapon. He's not a scientist. Dave, that's so right. You're not a scientist either. He's not a scientist. He's a weapon for Trump. Okay? That has happened, and I'm saying tit for tat because
it happens both ways.
Right, it happens both ways. And once you open the door, there's some people you can sort of give a little fake slap, and then they'll punch you in the face. Trump is one of those people. Doesn't make him right. It makes him incredibly wrong. Just like if my kid said to me, I like to use children because I'm a father first. If my kid said to me, well, he looked at me the wrong way. Well, you didn't have to punch him in the nose. Trump is that person. You look at him the wrong way, step on his white sneaks, he's going to shoot you. That's wrong. It's wrong and when it happens in a neighborhood. It's wrong when it happens at the presidential level. It is wrong. And yes, it has opened up the door now where we have pretty much no process for safeguarding Americans' health. That is true. I'm a conservative who is admitting that what that sister, Miss Clark, said, it's true. We are now putting ourselves in a situation where we have no safeguards.
And that's the bigger point versus you and me having our personal argument or me getting caught up in my own emotions in this situation. Let me call it what it is. I'm just like, I like to call things what it is. I'm not trying to be right. But unfortunately, when I do the research and I see somebody convoluting science, it bothers the hell out of me because I'm a science enthusiast. So that's
not only do we have no research, no safeguard through research or oversight or regulation, we're actually going hyper the other way. We're now in a situation where if I was an unscrupulous, money-hungry person, I could probably get away with doing some industry practices that would make me lots of money just because we're in an environment where I'm less likely to be caught.
Exactly.
That's extremely dangerous.
Yeah, like basically the office that, in a sense, would respond to the next pandemic, they got it down to one person, Leo.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Look, Trump's weaponization.
All right, can you hear me now? All right, I can't hear you, but hopefully I'll stop sharing. But yeah, I'll go ahead and just let you respond to that. That's Leo, a conservative, because again, I'm politically conscious. We try to bring both sides to the table.
So
that's
he with Trump and them.
Yeah, but he's highlighting that this is where we're at based on how we've demonized science. And again, I would add that the Fauci trial adds to people thinking that's okay. And he's admitting that he's admitting, even as a conservative, things are very dangerous for us, and he's highlighting,
Yeah.
like that sister said, that we're at a stage right now. He's saying that if he put together a company right now and did try to do something nefariously within the science field, he feel like he would get away with it because there's not enough checks and balances based on the beliefs of the current administration. Go ahead, brother.
So he's not agreeing. He is he not agreeing with you on that? He's agreeing with you, correct?
Yeah, he's saying we're at risk. That's what he clearly said. Yeah, he said we were at risk.
So
He
you know what?
he said it was extremely dangerous.
Oh, I thought you was gonna play. See, I had my mind set that you were gonna play the clip where y'all was going back and forth on that.
So did you hear the? Were you able to hear the actual clip?
Yeah, I heard but I was listening for something that wasn't there though. You get it? Because we had a conversation. No, do you know how you can be listening for something? And I was like, well, why would he play that? Because he's proving and validating that they was wilding out their mind.
And I'm just asking you to respond to that.
There's no response. Yes, I agree with him. Yeah, but that's what you get though. That's what you get.
But I ain't happy to say that's what you get because we're living through it as the current citizens. So I ain't happy that that's what we get.
That's what you get. Nah.
We at risk though. That includes you and me being at risk though, huh?
Man,
so ain't no, what's what we get?
That's what you get.
No, ain't no. So now we in danger?
Nah, I'm listening to the CDC. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
But you listen to the CDC, don't keep us from having lettuce that's dangerous right now.
Yeah, keep you from eating the lettuce. They should go to Dr.
But I'm just saying the whole reason we even got the risk.
I got you. I know, man.
Yeah,
I know.
That's what I'm saying. The point is it harms all of us.
Yeah, it do.
Yeah, so I ain't don't me about something that makes the world more dangerous for me. I don't feel good that they was wrong and now the world's more dangerous.
Hold on, man. We tried to tell them black people this ain't the time to go Republican.
But it don't make it okay.
I know, but we say this ain't the time to go Republican. Oh, they're a little wild right there. They're a little wild. I understand you want to fight. You don't want to be a Democrat. I understand it. I agree with you. You have a choice. But this ain't the right time. You got a wild guy called Trump. We seen him in his first administration, but the first time we seen him, we seen how he caused people to literally charge the daggone Capitol, bro. These people charged the Capitol based off of bad leadership, man. So it was a bad idea. All of it, man. So now he's gonna admit. I like to hear your man prior to all that what he was saying, because I know y'all was having some good discussions.
Well, he didn't want to admit that the trial was just show. He just didn't want to admit that. So this show ain't about that. This show is about
yes, it is.
Not this show right here. That's the politics. If they want to watch the political show, go back and watch the political show.
No, play that.
We were arguing about the politics. This right here is just talking about
man,
the truth of the results of that trial.
Fine.
I'm doing the comments. I really haven't given people a fair share in the comments. So I got one guy that says red flag, and he says, why would they give you a placebo during the pandemic, taking my goddamn head? And I'll just say to you, Damon, what happened was I was actually in a trial. So in a trial, so many of you will get the actual vaccine, and another part of you will not get the vaccine so that they can actually test everything properly to see if there's a different result between those with the vaccine versus those with not. So that's why they gave me a placebo. And unfortunately, the one time I did catch COVID was during that period when I was not vaccinated. So that's just to give you the answer for why they gave me the placebo. I'm just trying to go through some thoughts. I'm gonna play couple last cuts here, and we'll get out of here, man. I should have known if I do a show with you, it's gonna be much longer than I ever do a show.
Yeah, but
My show be an hour, 15 minutes. We in this joint 2 hours, and about 30 minutes is just us, me and you arguing like we do.
You doing good, though, man.
I'm trying to make it happen. All right, I'll get to some more comments. Let me get to these last couple cuts, man.
It's almost a mental dialogue. It's in between.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely a little more.
You're so proper with you drink your tea like this. Well, if the PPP, but yes, and I understand all of these. Yes,
I should have known you would have come in here and said, "I'm gonna knock all this shit over." That's what you do. I should have known that's what I was gonna be. But it's funny that the technology is acting funny, which makes it harder for me. But the cool thing is I'm learning how to use it this way.
Yeah.
In the middle of this show, I'm actually learning how to use it in the middle of the show a different way just in case this happens again.
And you're doing good.
Yeah, I'm
you can do
figuring
it
it
that
out.
way.
I'm figuring it out.
That's
I
how
almost cut
do
the
it.
show out because I couldn't figure it out at
I
first.
know you was getting
All right.
frustrated. I said I was about
Yeah,
to
well,
mute
you
you in the
know,
middle. I said I ain't gonna push him a little. I knew you was gone. I about to say, yeah,
yeah,
let's not do the show. I said I ain't gonna do you like that.
yeah. I would definitely I would have shut this joint down. All right.
I'm done.
Here's some history, and I know you love history, and so this actually clip comes from this lady on IG. She's talking about information from the book Guns, Germs, and Steel, and
Yeah.
this gives some historical context. Matter of fact, before I play this, let me do this other share real quick. I'm gonna do another share real quick. Cause here's something that I dialogued with somebody this week who, still felt very good about their decision not to take the vaccine. Again, I don't dog people for that decision because I understand the common sense reason for why people got to that decision. Like I said,
You say what? What?
I still don't dog out people who individually chose not to take the vaccine.
Okay.
Because I understand the common sense based on all of the propaganda that was pushed via the TV, via social media. I understand how people could common sense wise come to the decision not to take the vaccine. Now I don't agree with it. If you're scientific literate, you would not come to that decision. But I'm not dogging anyone out who makes that decision. My point being is, this week I was dialoguing with someone who said they felt very confirmed in their decision not to take it, specifically after the Fauci trial. Again, I respect people coming to that decision. I shared with them, for example, a lot of what people got confused has been scientific protocol for governments for over 70 years. But the reason you didn't know it is because it's been 100 years, thanks to vaccines, thanks to science, since we've had a pandemic. Most of these things have gotten shut down prior to them becoming worldwide pandemics. So to your point earlier, because we've had the luxury of living in a world without a worldwide pandemic for 100 years, people are not aware that some of the same protocols that they said, oh, the government's trying to take our rights. I wanted to show them this. So let me share the screen real quick. So people they're not aware of the history that these protocols have existed for over 100 years. But again, we didn't have to use them. But here, watch this right here.
Hey,
This is a real quick thing I want to show people.
you said the common sense. Science ain't common sense, though.
Exactly. I know it's counterintuitive. That's your verbiage. I love it. I learned it from you.
Yeah.
So this right here, just to give people, I'm just gonna read some quick words talking about the 1918 Spanish flu. It says the surprisingly relevant vintage ad shows how officials tried to convince people to wear masks after many refused during the 1918 flu pandemic. Here's a picture in the paper. Wear a mask. One Oregon newspaper clips. We appeal to our civil patriotism to cooperate with us in an effort to stamp out the Spanish influenza or flu plague in Portland by wearing a mask. The article just the top of it. It says, as the Spanish flu swept through the U.S. in 1918 and 1919, face masks became ubiquitous to helping and preventing the spread of disease, much as they have today during the coronavirus pandemic. However, many refused to wear them in 1918, saying that the government mandated mask enforcement violated their civil liberties. An anti-mask league was even formed in San Francisco to protest the legislation. But men, it turns out, needed more convincing than women needed to heed the advice of public health officials. So I just shared the screen real briefly to show you that all of these protocols have been scientifically understood for years, have been used for years, but we've had the luxury of not only vaccinations reducing the number of infectious diseases that we got, but we also added the sanitation that even the scientific community added to where doctors were cleaning their devices. So we've had a whole bunch of improvements. And so we literally were slammed for the first time in 100 years with the airborne infectious disease that made them go to the same protocol science has always used.
So let me
but
say
we
this
thought, but we were thinking this is some type of government mandate being put
let me
on
say
there
this,
because
Montoya.
there's someone. Go ahead,
Let
brother.
me say this, Montoya. Although I may understand why a person would have their drawbacks based off the history in America of African Americans and Tuskegee and all that, what I don't understand is not actually reading what Tuskegee was, not reading the actual thing, but promote misinformation based off of that, right? I understand not understanding data and the complications of it and changing the government saying one thing, saying another. I completely understand the drawbacks and how that feeds your biases. I understand it. But what I will never understand is how do you promote a wild lie? How do you promote misinformation? Like, I'm not talking about the technical stuff. Like, they're actually trying to kill us. Okay, no problem, but it's an easier way to kill you, right? They're doing this, they're doing that. Fauci is this and that. Dude, why promote a lie? I never understand you promote a lie because if you, like I'm saying, if you care about yourself first and your family second, you at least would look into it. You would look, you would evaluate both things. If you
And
don't care, hold on. If you don't care and you just want to be right, then you don't evaluate it. You just go on. But that means it's like the conscious community, like the African citizen, black allergist groups and all that, right? They actually didn't. We thought they could be trusted to care about us, but the pandemic drew everybody out. At the pandemic, you would know if a person really cared. You would know because
I
the
disagree.
person really get. Let me just say it. Just my
I'm
personal.
not stopping you. I'm just telling. I'm just throwing in that I disagree. But go ahead.
Okay, but I'm saying you would tell the person generally because when you care about other people other than yourself, then you are not trying to be right. You're trying to make sure that the people that you're speaking to has the right information because to be wrong could be a detriment to their health and their well-being, and that's why you care. So no, I don't like the fake care. The fake care is Unc just wants to be right. See, I care about black people to the point where I'm saying eat some spinach, right? Like the Nation of Islam say, eat some navy beans, and they claim they care. Hey, bro, that's fake caring. You care when you go against your whole organization, what they're talking about, because you want to make a value decision in the general health of the people you claim to fight for. That's when you care, bro. You don't care when you just want to be right and want to keep the name of the Nation of Islam or want to keep the real black atheist name strong and high and always right. That means you care about yourself and your organization, bro. That don't mean you care about your people, bro. That's called being selfish.
So yeah, I understand what you're saying. I'm gonna navigate what you're saying just a little differently. Here's where I agree and here's where I disagree. So I absolutely agree with you. If you, in a sense, are attempting to be in a place of authority or and basically have the and are aware of the information that is not necessarily lining up. So for somebody who takes that position, I mean, meaning they are aware of, for example, in this conversation that you and I are currently having.
Yeah.
So if somebody is actually aware of the information that we try to deliver as best we can, if they are aware of that information and still do it, that is not caring. But I absolutely understand how for example, I used to believe the word you love to use, blackology, right? I used to believe some of that same stuff. And I literally believed it because I read it, I saw it, and because I thought I learned it, I shared it with my friends sincerely. So I get how
Me too.
So
I
I'm
get
saying
that part.
yeah, so
Me
I'm just
too,
saying
me too,
so
me
I'm just
too.
saying so generally speaking,
That's
if
not
you
the part though.
yeah, well, I'm just saying I am distinguishing
The part
initially.
is after that. Is what I'm
No,
talking about.
but the after that too. The after that is
Nah,
this
I
is
don't
what
get it. Nah, I don't
yeah,
get it.
well, yeah, you just don't understand confirmation bias then. Confirmation bias,
Yeah,
you
you're
keep
gonna do a
finding it.
show. You're gonna do a show
You
on that.
just
Remember?
well, I know we want to do more on cognitive dissonance, but I'm just saying you don't
And confirmation bias.
confirmation bias. You just simply continue to only look at the information that supports what you believe. That's human. You and I, as science, I always tell you this: as scientific literate as you and I claim to be, if I were to find out something that you actually believe that has nothing to do, that's not based in science, then you would do the very same thing that you're saying. I don't understand how people do it.
Now
I'm
you-
very,
now
I'm
you
very
made that
aware
up.
that I'm very
You made that
aware
up.
that I attempt to not have confirmation bias, that I attempt not to be have cognitive dissonance, but I am very understanding there are areas in my own life where my cognitive dissonance will kick in if it's something that I believe versus logic.
Yeah, but
You
you
always talk
missing.
about it, believing mind, the believing mind. You always
Yeah,
talk
but
about it.
you
So,
underestimate. Hold on, and I gotta wholeheartedly disagree, because out of anybody in this community, you know me for the last 20 years, and guess where you know me from? Last 20 to 25 years. Used to work at a gym, right? And in that gym, we had epic battles. I was at the height of my power, bro. It's a champion. And this thing they call knowledge and wisdom, bro. And you put a crack in that foundation. This is what I believe, what I knew to be true, bro. Had crowds cheering, bro. Listen, and me, bro, listen, hey, bro, listen. 3,000 people listening to me in SETI, Atlanta crowds. I hardly cheer my name. I could say every word I'm saying like I was a rapper, my nigga. And you threw that stone, and it cracked it. And I was like, damn. I believe this. Me and my uncle, yo, we was right. Come on, bro. I said, I believe this, bro. With all my heart. I used to say it on YouTube, bro. All this. But when you said something that made more sense what I had because of the love of my damn people, I say, oh, shoot. Let me see. That's the difference there, bro. You
I
can't
agree.
tell me that I didn't believe that. I used to say, I
Well, you
love my
did.
people.
You
I said, I
did.
love my people. And you hit me with a little thing. You say, well, I'm trying to let you know that yes, the white man is a crocodile, but his teeth ain't as sharp. I say, damn. You said you giving him more credit than he is. I was like, oh, because I was the white man. You said, yeah, but let me give an example. He's a crocodile. But I'm telling you, making them teeth sharper than he realized. Them teeth aren't as sharp. You making him more than what he is. I was like, what? We fought. Oh, the Civil War wasn't fought over slavery. He was like, come on the show with that. Oh, man, he beat me and my uncle from pillar to post. I was like, uncle, say something. Say something to that man. Get that man. I say, damn, I'm on the wrong side. I said, I can't keep going back to my people with this message, bro.
Not you love your people. So,
That's what I'm saying.
I know,
don't
I understand it.
So that's
We're
my
in
point.
agreement. So where I'm in agreement with you is if
So
you
I
are
had bias, I had confirmation bias,
yeah,
I
I
had
get
all
it. But
that.
I'm just
But
saying
my
where I'm in
love for the
agreement. So I'm
people was
agreement
more than
with
all
you
that.
is
All right.
we all have to
All
go through that period.
All
If you have love for your
right.
people and you're
All right.
concerned about it, they will take that same journey.
You gotta look into it at that point.
I understand that. I
You
understand
get
that.
it?
But I'm just
You
saying,
say you love your people. It ain't about me and popularity. It's about what's good for the people. That's always been a message. I'm giving y'all something that's gonna be helpful. So how can you come with something that sounds better and make more sense of what I got, and I keep promoting it because of for all these biases and all that? How can I keep staying with that, bro?
no,
That means I really
respect
care
you. That's why
about
we stay. Yeah,
myself, my
no, you
message.
do.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
No, I
That's my
get it.
point.
I get it. I get it.
wanted
I
to
get
get
it.
that out.
And to me, there are people that are platform that should move like that. But I don't. Generally
You gotta
speaking, I'm
move
just
like
talking
that.
about disinformation. That again, only reason we understood it because again, I never listened to Fauci personally. I just researched the science myself. I remember one time I was having a dialogue with one of my friends, and he was like, a lot of the stuff he's like, well, for you not to listen to, remember he said to me, he's like, for you not to watch TV and not to listen to Fauci, he ended up saying, a lot of the stuff you saying lines up. I was like, well, I only know it lines up because you told me it did. I said, but the only reason that it's lining up is probably because it's just the science. I'm only telling you the science. I don't watch TV, so I don't know what he's telling y'all. And so he was trying to tell me, you got to be watching it. Because the information, not all of it, but I'm saying some of the information was lining up. He didn't understand. I literally was just researching it myself because you taught me how to do that.
Yeah, you gotta
You
look
taught
read
me
the
how to do that.
Yeah, and so just let me see. Unvaccinated with autism, they will say somebody snuck the jab at them. Yeah, man, the autism thing and this crazy guy Robert F. Kennedy Jr. trying to promote that again, man. Autism is a neurological thing, right? They can tell in the gray matter before the baby's even born whether he will end up being autistic or not. It's also on the daggone spectrum. It has nothing to do with prenatal care, has nothing to do with vaccination and all that. But see, I can understand that a mother who see their beautiful baby who's perfectly fine, and then the actual disease develops months after they get vaccinated. I can see the connection. I can also see why people look at the VAERS study, right? The VAERS, that thing, and see how they don't understand the difference between deaths occurring after vaccinations and deaths occurring because of vaccinations.
Absolutely.
I can understand how you don't understand that. But what I can't flipping understand is, why aren't you listening to the words? There's a difference between what occurs after you get vaccinations, deaths after you get vaccinated, and deaths because of vaccinations. That is two different things. Either you can't read or you're not listening. That's what I can't understand, bro. See the difference?
So yeah, I know the difference.
Right,
You're absolutely right about.
Right, I can't understand.
What you're refusing not to understand is
willfully.
Here it is. Here, what you're refusing to understand is how many people they're also seeing in their feeds with some type of credentials behind their name, telling them
nurses.
Either I'm talking about even bigger than nurses. I'm talking about there are again. You're able to go, is it a virologist or not? I get that the average person, me included, is not always going, is it a virologist or not? So I'm not saying average like people are like less than me. I'm not saying average and that's it. You do it because you're in this world, so it matters to you because this is your love, this is your enthusiasm. You know, speaking, we ain't got time. We ain't got time to figure that part out. Huh? So I'm just saying, I get how when you're saying you explain the distinction. But you're forgetting how many people in their feed, even with credentials, are telling them that the VAERS is causal. They're getting a bunch of people telling them that's causal. So I get that they don't know the distinction between what you're saying and what the people who are telling them that is causal. I'm just saying I understand that. At the end of the day, here's what you do know about the psychology of the brain. Our brain does not distinguish between truth and lies.
No.
Our brain goes by what it hears the most. So when you're saying you can't understand that somebody would do that, I'm saying if they've been hearing somebody say that it's causal, the VAERS is causal over and over, and you come along and explain the actual science, I come along and explain the exact actual VAERS is this.
Yeah, I don't explain it. No, I don't explain. I said, let's just read what it actually says.
I know, but I'm just simply saying if somebody's heard what you're about to say once, and they've heard somebody else say that it's causal 100 times.
No, I understand that. I get it.
They're not gonna just drop.
No, I get it. But what I don't understand is when you don't take the time to go to the damn website and read it. It's what I don't understand. But
people ain't got time, man.
Yes, you do. You got time to look at clips of 30
people
40
don't
minutes.
No, check it out. We've moved into don't forget the real world we've moved into. The reason schools are now getting rid of screens and bringing books back on. I'm talking about psychology now. Let's not forget that there was a time 20 years ago, me and you, could say, hey, I have a website. Go look at my website. And people would go look at your website because it was the new thing. But in 2026, right now, if I tell somebody, go look at my website, people are now addicted to it coming to the feed. People don't go anywhere. It comes to them. So that's the reality of where we're at now. And we're having to deal with the psychology of that technology for our kids right now.
That, but your life on the line, bro. When your life on the line, when you're in a situation that is unique, that you've never experienced in your whole life, intelligent people will say, this is different. My grandmother never talked about this. I've never heard of this. This is we was in drastic moments, bro.
Right. And so you got people in drastic moments also telling you, don't take the vaccine. I got a detox for you. So that same fear can make you listen to us, or that same fear can make you listen to the person.
You don't do that. What? You know what? You know what? You're right. You're right, yo. Some people just dumb as a MM.
No, see, that's bullshit.
You're right.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, you're right. You're right,
that's
bro.
Bullshit.
You got me.
That's
you got me, yo. You're right.
People are not dumb.
Yeah.
You're just not respecting the psychology of the brain now.
Yeah, because
You just said. You just said.
Nah, you cut
You
me off,
just
though.
said.
You cut me off. You cut me off.
I am
Just
cutting you
for
off
the
on
record.
purpose.
So,
I'm
but I ain't
on
gonna let you
purpose.
cut. I ain't gonna let you cut me off on purpose to make your own narrative based off what I said. I know what I said.
I'm just
And
saying.
I know how I said
I
it.
want you to highlight that you understood how a mother could be worried about autism after her child got a vaccine. So that's not a dumb person.
No, that's not a dumb person.
Right. So you can't
I
call
never
people
said
dumb.
that.
But I'm just pointing out without you realizing that she can rightfully have her fear and she can listen to the anti-vaxxers for the rest of her life. She's
Yeah, I
not
get
dumb
that.
for
That ain't
doing
what I
it.
said, though. You
But I'm
cut
just
me off
saying, you're
there,
saying people are
no, but you
dumb.
cut me off and made me forget
Go
my
ahead.
damn point that I
All
was
right, go
making.
ahead.
You did
I'm
that on
glad you
purpose.
forgot.
No, you didn't.
I'm glad you forgot it. Because we're not calling people dumb. I don't do that.
we ain't. So you say ain't no dumb people?
No, I'm not saying ain't no dumb people.
All right. So if it's dumb people, then some people can fit that. Then can't
But coming to conclusions based on what you hear all the time, this is why people do. This is why Nike
I ain't
spends $1
trying
billion
that, man. I
on
forgot.
marketing. Marketing
I
works,
forgot.
bro.
Yeah, it do work, but
It
what I'm
works for the
trying to
good
say
and for
is,
the bad.
then we must be some extraordinary human beings, then, bro. It's
No, we
got
ain't
to
got
be one
enough.
way. So we're not
We ain't got enough
extraordinary.
money to
So
promote the scientific literacy.
no.
If
I'm
we had more money
saying
to promote it, more people would listen to it.
no. I'm saying me and you must be some extraordinary human beings. Then
I ain't going that far.
I'm gonna go that far because I ain't never in the middle of a situation that I ain't never seen in my whole life, never experienced. I ain't never saying, hold on. I'm gonna say, hold on.
No,
I've
that's what
never
you,
experienced this
no,
before
you should
in my life.
question everything.
Hold on.
No, people.
I'm gonna question
No,
everything.
so that's what people are doing.
No, they're not
And you
questioning
can-
everything. They question one side of it. Yeah, they're only looking at one side of it, and it's a wild side.
Tom-
This is what I'm never doing. I'm never saying I'm not listening to white people. Watch this, bro. Hold on. I'm never saying I'm not listening to white people and then listen to the ignorant white people. I'm never doing that. So I must be extraordinarily sharp. Must be.
You can give yourself more props if you want to.
Must be.
But
Because I'm saying, hey,
just
if I'm
because
not listening to
you're
white
just
people,
trying to give
then
yourself
I'm
credit
not listening
because
to
you're
white people. Hold on.
You're not doing it.
Hold on.
I'm playing this next track, then we out here.
Hold on.
This is the next cut. I'm playing it. We out here.
Hold on.
No, I'm not holding on. We're going to the last
I'm
cut.
not
I can end this
listening to
damn
white
show.
people.
Because you make me do a 3-hour pseudo killer show. That ain't what I do. I ain't doing
I'm saying
that.
if I'm
I ain't
listening
doing
to
that.
white
We're gonna do this
people, I'm
last
listening to
clip.
white people.
Then you have to make your point after this last clip. I'm finna play this. Cause I ain't doing. You got me doing a 3-hour. I ain't never did a show this long. I'm doing this. Nah, man. Nah, we're not doing that. I want to give people some history and then get out of
All
here.
right, cut it off. Don't play the clip. Cut it off. We too far.
Hopefully I did it right.
Hey, Daddy Supernova, I'm definitely
I
more
might have did it
special
wrong
than
this
you.
time. Hold on.
I'm
trying
definitely
to.
more
I did
special than
something
you,
wrong
yo.
this time.
I ain't never looking down a barrel
Okay,
of
here
a
we go.
gun.
Is when the Europeans arrive, they start this biological exchange that actually kills between 90 to 98% of all indigenous people living in the Americas because they have never had access to those diseases before. And the last smallpox epidemic is in the 1860s. So if you look at when the first Europeans arrive in, let's say, 1492 to 1860, that's how long it takes for the indigenous populations to gain immunity and resistance to these diseases like smallpox and the flu. And the question you could be asking yourself is, well, why didn't they give the Europeans a bunch of diseases? And the answer is the animals I've been talking about in parts 1 and 2 of this. That's why. So when we look at the animals that can be domesticated, the majority of them are from Eurasia, here. Fewer of them are from the Americas. You get diseases from animals. Who's going to have more disease? And then over time, Eurasians built immunity to those diseases. And they suffered for that greatly. Many Europeans died in the Black Death. Many Chinese people died in the Black Death. Many people died throughout history to develop those immunities in Eurasia. Lots of their population died. They only had these 3 animals that they could have gotten diseases from. So they were largely disease-free. And one of my most interesting facts about this time period is one of the things the Europeans noted about the indigenous populations is that their skin looked beautiful, because they didn't have smallpox marks or chickenpox scars from all the diseases that they had. People in Europe were grotesque. They had all these wounds from the fact that they had all these diseases, literally. And they were looking at the indigenous peoples like, wow, their skin's just like beautiful. But because of that, they didn't have diseases to give to the Europeans. We think there might have been 2 diseases they gave. One is yellow fever, which is spread in swamps. The other one would have been possibly syphilis. We're not even sure that happened. And syphilis is only spread through sexual contact. It can't be spread through just coughing on somebody, like all the diseases. So when the Europeans arrive, they have gotten these diseases from their proximity to domesticatable animals. Maybe the Americas had these diseases. So Europeans arrive. You're an indigenous person. Maybe you survive the flu epidemic, you die of chickenpox the next year. Maybe you survive the flu and chickenpox, you die of smallpox the next year. And the number we have is up to 98%. So that's called the Great Dying. And that's why Europeans had a fairly easy time in the Americas. This book, Guns, Germs, and Steel by Jared Diamond, he details this in the chapter when he talks about why Pizarro is able to take over the Inca and not the other way around. Excellent book. And this is part 3, explaining why the domesticated animals led to the disease, which led to the Europeans taking over.
So I remember one time during the pandemic, I was having this dialogue with a guy who's now in medical school, but he was about to go at the time, so he hadn't went at the time we had this dialogue. But this was during the pandemic, and he was anti-vaxxer, and his thoughts were just about how our bodies naturally handle disease, which again, our immune systems are excellent. They're amazing. You know what I mean? I always explain vaccines just assist the body in what it already does. That's what I would always explain. And so, and he was just talking about the issues of, in a sense, the government's. I don't want to overstate what he said, but he was just real big into how to live healthy and how to live organic. He was just saying that was the better alternative to taking, the potential at the time the vaccine hadn't been created. This is why they was trying to create. They were, in the build. It's like the first year before it was created. So he and I were having this dialogue because they were, trying to get the vaccine online, pretty, whatever. And so at the time, and I offered that to him. I said, genetically, one of the healthiest groups ever in the world were those that we quote unquote now call Native Americans. I said, just based on genetics, on DNA genetics. They were some of the healthiest people. They pretty much only died of cancer and natural death for the most part prior to their interaction with Europeans. And I was just saying that if living organically and living off natural foods, why did when they contacted the Europeans, if being natural and living healthy was the better way, then they wouldn't have lost their population, and probably the Europeans probably would have never took over. I literally said that to him because he was highlighting that we should be living naturally and organically right now. And the reality is, I say the history books tell us they took over because of guns. The real reason they took over was because they lost their populations to disease. Yeah. But nobody's going to write his story in that manner. Mm-hmm. You're going to write his story where your heroes prevailed and took over and shot a bunch of quote unquote Indian. Like, you're gonna tell the story favorable so that your people. This is how his history is a political tool too, and so you tell your story, his story, in a way that is favorable to your own people. You're not gonna tell we came over here and killed everybody off because we gave them diseases. You would never write that.
You never write that. Yeah, you wouldn't write that.
So, but again, that's just my long way of saying, hey, here's the history of natural living versus using a vaccine to assist the body with what it already does very well.
So you speaking to the clip, or you speaking to something else?
Just in general. Just it was just the last clip. I'm speaking. I mean, I hope. Did you see the clip? Because I hope what I'm saying sounds related to the clip. You don't feel like what I'm saying is related to the clip?
It's a little, kind of, not necessarily, because I want to get away from the disease-free America. It wasn't disease-free before. You got like tuberculosis, you got Chang's disease, you got syphilis, you got valley fever, you got Heliobacter, you got a lot of different stuff in there. But I think the point she made was a very, very complicated point, and I can understand why people don't understand it. I understand it because I understand what old world and new world immunity is. See what I'm saying? So I can understand the person not even getting it. I can understand the people not understanding the genomic transfer. I can understand all that. That's why I just think when your life on the line, you just dumb if you don't listen to an expert and pay close attention to both sides of the conversation. At that point, you put yourself in an issue. Now, if you got a drug addiction, that's an extra point there where you might not be able to get over that. I can understand the struggles of that, right? You would say, well, then why do people continue to smoke cigarettes, Montoya? When on the pack it say will cause cancer and will cause birth defects, why do they keep doing it? Partly is an addiction, right? More of it, and being willfully ignorant. But on earth, you're not rewarded for being willfully ignorant, though.
I disagree with willfully ignorant because we cannot
On purpose, you being ignorant. You being on
I
purpose.
know that's what you're saying, but I disagree
on
with
purpose.
willfully because I'm gonna use your cigarette example. Your cigarette example is definitely not willfully ignorant when we know the big tobacco companies spent at least 20 years. I think it was about 30 years, but they spent 30 years hiding the actual science on what what cigarettes could do to your body. So I'm not gonna call the public willfully. Well, that's what they did. They did do that. Let's not act like they did not do that.
I don't agree. What happened was they didn't join a board and kill their companies with the information is what they didn't do, and I wouldn't expect them to do that. I expect them to do exactly what they did.
Okay, so my point being is you're saying people are being willfully ignorant.
Yeah, it's on the pack though. I'm saying once you
it wasn't on the pack in the beginning.
I ain't talking about that.
So
That's
I'm
not
just
being
saying,
willfully ignorant.
So what I'm
Once
trying to
it's
say
on
is
the pack and the government say, yeah, you're gonna die, then you did it. What part aren't you hearing?
so this is the part you're not hearing,
Yeah.
So what happens is, so here it is. I'm talking about how propaganda really works. So during the period, which I understand this is not the period you're talking about.
But read this book. It talks about the cigarette thing.
I'm leading up to today. So in the history of the time that they didn't join the board in order to bury the science.
Huh? Yeah, they buried it. Yeah, they did all that.
Yeah. So let me get to my point. So just bear with me.
Criminals.
Yes, they are. They should be.
All right. Okay.
They were. So my point being is what you're calling willful ignorance.
I'm saying now, though, when you read
I know what you're saying now. I got another point.
All right. Go ahead. So don't. All right, go.
I gotta set it up in order to make my point right now make sense.
Oh, I'm not letting you talk like you do me.
Yeah,
my fault.
I always agree that I do it, so I don't mind. But I'm just saying. So,
go ahead.
So what you're calling willful ignorance, I'm just realizing what companies do and how advertising and propaganda works.
Okay.
I think you personally disregard that when you call people being willfully ignorant. For example, with the tobacco companies burying the science and trying to keep it hidden for 30 years or whatever. The guy that tried to, that guy almost killed himself based on how much they was trying to make him hide his shit. But anyway, I'm saying hide what he found out about them. And all I'm simply saying is, so when you spend that kind of time and spend a bunch of money actually putting out fake science about cigarettes being okay, and I'm saying that stuff hits the magazines and whatever homes had TV at the time. Most people didn't have TV, but I'm just saying when the company spends the money telling you that cigarettes are safe, I understand that when they finally lose the case to have to, and all they lost was having to put that on the package. They didn't lose none of their money now. They lost money fighting the case. But when they lose the case in the Supreme Court and they have to at least put here are the dangers on the package, which is all they technically lost after all those years of BSing the people, those companies still advertise, and that little label at the time, people didn't initially stop smoking. Now,
no, I get that.
Right, what I'm saying.
That's
now,
not
watch where I'm going. Let me finish. So 30 years later, with the introduction of that sign, you eventually 30 years later, you start getting people smoking less. So it took a long time due to the amount of money of advertising and propaganda they pose. It took 30 years later before you finally had California finally say, we don't have no smoking in no public areas. So it took a long time to go up against the propaganda. So I'm just saying people are not always willfully ignorant. They're up against what their brain hears over and over again. And people are going to go where they are attuned to their bias. So I don't just simply call people ignorant.
Yeah, I
Because
said I understand that. No,
I get it.
all what you just said, I agree. But I'm saying right now, in 2026, when you look at that cigarette pack and say it will cause cancer and will cause birth defects and all that, I'm saying at a certain point, you just addicted. You addicted. I get that. I get being addicted.
Sometimes you're addicted.
Yeah, I can understand being
all
addicted.
the advertising, and it
I
doesn't
definitely-
say. And since we're going to be technical, I'm not trying to just. It doesn't
Yeah,
say.
I don't think nobody said that.
Yeah,
now,
it just
bro.
says it could cause. It could cause because here's the reality.
No,
Like, speaking of,
I got one to say will cause cancer. We know it's will cause cancer. You want to look that up?
Yeah, let's look it up. Pull up the label. Cause here it is.
Shit.
Cause here's a reality, and I'm gonna close the show with this, just to make people think. Cigarettes barely cause cancer. You know what most people do? It clog up your arteries and kill you of heart disease, and that first. Like even the studies that show cigarette causing cancer. Like if you actually go, I've looked this up. It ain't even that it causes. It's just what happened was they was hiding the science that even said showed that it could cause. They were just hiding that. Would cigarettes kill you of more of anything? It's heart disease.
Yeah, I ain't
That's what it
listening to you. Here you go. I'm gonna show this. I definitely ain't listening to you. Here you go, Montoya.
It says
Here's
will?
the thing. Man, what you talking about, yo?
All right,
Here you
cool.
go. Boom. Here you go. Let's make
Can
it.
you
I'm gonna make it bigger. Hold on. I got you.
I gotta figure out how to let you share the screen because this is.
Yeah, you gotta just click it. Just click
Oh,
it.
okay,
Yo.
it's something I can click. Where you send it to me at?
I ain't sending it nowhere, yo. I already put it there. Just put
Oh,
my
go into
screen
the
up.
comment. Oh, okay, I got you. Okay, got you.
See, make it up. Here,
got
pull
you.
it up. Hit
I
it.
got you. I'm following you now.
All right. It's right beside me. You see it?
I'm trying to find it. It might be some comments up under yours. You
Ain't
put it
no
in the
comments. Don't
right?
go with no. Look underneath for me.
Oh, okay. Let me see.
You see it?
No, not
Share
yet.
my screen. Now you gotta allow me to share my screen. Just hover your thing over top of it.
Over. What's it? Oh, okay. I see it.
You see it? Now
Oh,
let's
dang.
read
How
it.
you know how to do that?
Man, because I'm smarter than you. When it comes to this. So here you go. It say the Surgeon General's warning. Smoking causes lung cancer,
Okay, got you.
heart disease, emphysema. Am I saying it right? Emphysema.
Emphysema, yeah.
Emphysema.
Okay.
And may complicate pregnancy. The only may is right here, complicate pregnancy. But it said the warning, cigarettes causes lung cancer, bro. Heart disease. It say it. So
Okay.
if you read
Yeah.
that,
Yeah. And I said that what it kills you mostly is heart disease. Absolutely.
it says warning. If you read that, you just addicted, bro. You can't get past your addiction, yo. Because
Fair
ain't no
enough.
question in that right there. That's my
Fair
point.
enough.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
stuff.
So it's
All right,
the
man,
same
we're gonna
thing.
close this
It's the
thing
same
out.
thing with vaccines, though. So at a certain point, you're doing it on purpose. You're just addicted to bad information. You're doing it on purpose because it's the same type of warnings, yo.
Hey, one
Hey,
lady
he called
said
you
that
pseudo. He called you pseudo.
I can live with that. I can live with that.
Man. Big up to the
Damn.
pseudo killers, man.
And I end up being a pseudo.
Yeah. The whole show you been
I
fighting.
did. Damn.
It's gotta be.
Okay, I'll take it.
Nah, you sharp though. But you'll mess it up like all of us is. We just stay on that. I just know how people are willfully going against this because, like you said, they biases and all that. But at a certain point, when you're in a position where you say that if I'm saying I'm not messing with white people, hey, bro, I'm serious about that, then I'm not going to mess with white people. I'm never going to say I'm not going to mess with white people, but then mess with the ignorant white people. That's crazy to me. If I got to choose white people, I'm going to choose the intelligent ones, bro. That's if I say I ain't messing with dumb black people, then I ain't going to never mess with dumb black people. I'm going to mess with the intelligent ones, bro. So you saying we don't have a mechanism at a certain point to realize this is a successful person. We have looked at his financial records. The person who the financial records, we look at his track record in business, and we say, okay, I'm gonna choose him. Or you got another person who don't got a financial track record, you don't see it, and they on YouTube, and you go to their house, they just broke. You mean you would choose them, right?
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people are doing that though.
But that's no. I'm trying to tell
well,
you.
maybe a
that's
lot.
how-
Yeah, but I
that's
was just
how-
say that my friends that disagree with me, they're not doing that. I can say that they are presenting people who are successful in their fields, saying
No,
things
that don't
confirm
count.
their
Remember, I
bias.
keep saying it. Being successful surgeon does not count in immunology. You have to keep telling them that.
I get that.
Being a doctor does not count.
Yeah, some of these people are
being
in
a
their field.
virologist, bro, who don't have no published work talking about it cause cancer does
But some of
not
these people
count.
have published works and stuff like that. So I get
No,
it.
they don't. Not on what they saying, yo.
I wouldn't disagree with that, but I do understand how they're it's not an unsuccessful person who, like the example you give, that's not who they're listening to. They're listening to people that have published work in their field.
You mean like Boyce Watkins and them when they say
No,
don't cut the
I'm
vaccines?
talking about like a was it?
You sure?
What's the guy? Robert Malone or
He's not. He's a nut.
but he's not a nut in his field. He's actually he's
ain't making no
respected in his
lie.
field.
No,
he's
not.
respected in his actual field. He's very respected.
It's Cap. You made that up, yo.
He's not respected in his field.
Hell no. When he jumped out his field, he's a nut.
I said in his field.
We don't even care about him being respected. Now we can't trust him at all. How can I trust you in your field? If I can't trust you, I can't trust you. You gotta have the bait to cut it off, yo. How can I trust Trump in any business matter? Because you know he was a businessman before he was president. I'm gonna trust him in business, but think he's a wild president. No, that means you sneaking and hiding in your business practices. Hey, bro, you don't go from being a high-level Fauci to a dishonest, discredited fool. That means you always was that, bro. You never can separate that, bro. You can't.
Yes, you can.
Really?
Yeah.
So you saying you can be a dishonest, mischievous thief?
That's not.
And then your job
Let me
is
tell
to
you what
watch
I am
out.
saying.
Is to hold on. Is to watch out for the goal, right? And you think that's not gonna carry over your. Whatever,
that's not what I'm saying.
Well, he's
No,
gonna have a better way of
that's not what
coming
I'm
up.
saying.
What
All
you
I'm
saying?
simply saying.
That's all I'm saying.
All I'm simply saying is.
What you saying?
Just like, for example, I used to. I'm trying to think of something I used to believe. Right?
Look at you looking up in the sky. Look at you.
know,
Look at you looking up in the sky.
No, I'm just trying to remember something that I used to believe that I no longer. Okay, I'll tell you something. Like, for example, so here it is. When you say you can't separate it, this is my personal. So at one point, I actually believed Ivan Van Sertima. Like I actually believed that. But I was also in college at a time where I was learning, as much as I was a legal studies major, but I went to an engineering school, a military school. So they made us take a bunch of extra science classes I never wanted to take, but I had to take them. So I simply say all that to say that. So I read.
Where you went to school at? Where you went to school at?
The Air Force Academy. So what I want to point out is I read Ivan Van Sertima before I had to take them daggone classes. So I was proud of the Blackology and believing we was here first and all that kind of stuff. Then I learned methodology and then started reading those who, like you said, learning to read the other side or whatever, which I always give credit to Malcolm X for that, because Malcolm X, when in his autobiography, talked about how he would always look at the other side of things before he went to a debate. So that's something that, having that knowledge base from Malcolm, when I'm in these classes, learning how to actually look at science and see people debate against Ivan Sertima and say, oh, damn, look at the science they're using versus he's not using a lot of science. So my point is, can you distinguish it? I was sincere in loving my people and sharing that we were here first. I was just as sincere. I still was an intelligent kid, but I was just as sincere. So I'm just saying I see how people do that. Then I had to go back like you did when I understood science and how to check against that, archaeology and science and all that kind of stuff. I was able to, okay, this is no longer true. So I changed my mind on it. But I'm saying at the time that I would have still been believing that, I was still the same intelligent kid that just didn't have the correct information about Ivan Sertima. So I'm just saying people are.
I'm just saying.
So people are. So when if people were to listen to me and my passion at that time, they could have repeated what I said.
Montoya, I hate to say it, you was a little dumb, yo. I'm never being in the Air Force Academy with the libraries that they got and take a daggone 1970 book over the high-level education I got right there. That means you was a little dumb, bro. I would never do it. I would have asked the teacher, is this a good book? I would have asked him. I would have challenged him. I hope it stood up to the scrutiny.
So what you're not listening
what
you're not listening to is I actually did exactly what you said, and you just can't hear the. I always tell people, don't forget your own process to knowledge. I just won't forget mine. Meaning, listen what I'm telling you. So I was aware. So what I'm listening to tell you, I was well read before getting to the academy. Guess how I continue to get better and improve? I continue going in that same library you're talking about to learn more stuff, and debunk some things I previously believed. And I'm just saying that is a don't forget your process. So yeah. But I ain't never not been intelligent.
You wasn't dumb then. So then why you play with us just now? You tried to play.
I didn't just play with us. I just explained. I just explained the process to me changing my mind. So the question was about how can somebody be an expert in their field? Because you know what I was good at the academy, even when I had that misinformation? I was good as hell at legal studies. So don't tell me I wasn't good at legal studies because I believe some dumb shit about Iverson Sertima. So you can be an expert in your field and miss it in some other place. It happens all the time. My point was, I was great in my actual degree stuff, but I was horrible at physics. I was horrible at a lot of subjects.
Yeah,
but I was great. But I was still great at mine.
Yeah, but you used the like you use your tools. I'm saying the only tool I had was the black bookstore.
I understand.
All right, man. I would have never overrode the library.
Yeah, I didn't do that either. I just kept learning.
Yeah, and then I had education around me in my house that made me look to scientific articles. I didn't override that. I used to put them up against each other, and you know what I mean? And my then wife used to argue that.
So if you forget your process, you will turn around and call people dumb. Don't forget your process.
No. If you remember your process and you realize that maybe he might be dumb, but you just said you didn't do that. So I'm about to say you was dumb. You gonna walk past the library, yo, and take a book from the black bookstore, yo. No sourcing, whatever, man. All right, okay, whatever.
Nah, there's plenty of books in that black bookstore that are sourced that I still listen to and still rock with.
Yeah.
Like, don't you dare act
Give me one. That ain't outdated on the subject. Go.
On what subject you saying?
No,
so I'm just saying right now. So right now, when I go into a black bookstore, I see.
No, I mean the serious black bookstores. You know the ones that sell all the knowledge.
So I'm just saying, yeah, we do have books in our bookstores that are sourced.
Like what?
I mean, let me see if I got one over here right now in my book. Let me look at my bookcase and see what I got. All right, here's a good one.
I know they got sources. Hold on, but go ahead. Let me see what you got. Don't pull the wrong one. Don't pull it.
No, I'm pulling this one.
What's that? That's a good one.
Yeah, exactly. Don't tell me I don't know.
What's that?
This is the autobiography of Martin Luther King, edited by.
That's safe. That's a safe choice. Go find another.
What you mean? I'm just saying don't act like we. You just said a general statement like we ain't got books in our store that are well sourced.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
I know what you're talking about, but maybe I don't know those type of stores.
You think about an African American bookstore.
Okay, so I don't know. Then I don't know what you're talking about. Then okay, maybe that's why.
Yeah. I ain't talking about that.
Okay, I thought you was dogging those stores out. That's what I.
No, hell no.
Okay,
I'm talking about the ones with the new age knowledge and all that stuff, and all the Dr. Ben's books.
That's all they got.
Can you get a Dr. Ben's book at the bookstore you got that from?
You ain't right. So now you taking shots at people. We done, man. This has been a damn pseudo killer show today. This ain't been no mental dialogue show. This is the longest show I ever did in my life. I don't even know if I can cut this up. It's so long. We out, y'all. I ain't even gonna say nothing else besides we out.
Hey, I'll be back live in 20 minutes, y'all, when I finish cleaning.
See, he got more to do. I gotta go back. I gotta go see my lady. Go to a poetry event. Get out amongst the people. Y'all,
feed some
I don't want to stay on these. Okay, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
I'm feeding some home.